Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports. When
It comes to Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men. We will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
And they embody what the school is about. It's about getting into hard situations and getting ourselves out. It's about working hard. It's about doing amazing things.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
Just like Santa Ana when he, well, actually, March 6, 1836 is the Alamo. And shout out to 1836 here on TexAgs Live. Obi was having some mechanical or electronical issues, but we're all good.
Yeah.
Panicking Cade Bickham forgot to give you the box, and then you were mad scrambling.
So it's Alamo Day.
Alamo Day.
Why isn't San Jacinto Day even more remembered?
I don't know.
I guess because we're going to remember the Alamo.
We have to remember the Alamo.
Well, I remember.
Colonel Travis drawing the line down.
Yeah.
He goes, who's with me? Cross the line. It was cross the line if you're with me, right?
Yes, if you're willing.
And then there was one dude who wasn't willing.
Really? I didn't know.
I think I remember.
I read the first guy that stepped across the line from Ohio. His name was Tapley Holland.
Tapley. Pounding the rock with Tap Bench later on the show.
Yeah.
Sorry, two different people.
Maybe the guy that didn't cross the line was James Bowie because he was, wounded in the back with a sick and everything. And
Google that because I don't want to give, I
did Google Louis Rhodes, actually did not.
Louis Rhodes.
Louis Rhodes. God, that guy's such a punk. I mean, he probably... Louis Rhodes. This show has started off great. I'm sure we're going to get rave reviews on this one. That one guy...
Wait, this is the state of Texas? This is a great day of Texas history.
OB, SEC tournament seeding matchups are all over the place.
They are.
It could be, 5?
Could be 5.
Might be 9?
Could be.
There's a lot of scenarios in play.
Yeah.
With one game.
Just beat
LSU.
Just beat Louis Rhodes, Louisiana.
Louisiana roads.
They got bad roads over there, just like we had bad roads that day. Just go to Baton Rouge, win, and then let everything else take care of itself. I think that Kentucky loses to Florida. What are the other ones that we got to look at?
Arkansas beats Vandy, I believe.
I think so.
And then Texas involved in one, right?
I don't know.
Texas playing Oklahoma.
Yeah, Texas and Oklahoma is one as well.
And Oklahoma's playing some decent basketball.
Vandy and Tennessee is...
Vandy and Tennessee. In Knoxville. Knoxville.
Yeah.
So, I don't think it's I don't think it's that big a stretch to think that all 4 things that A&M would like to happen do happen. Let me ask you.
I'll answer.
Are you taking A&M over LSU?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Are you taking Florida over Kentucky?
I am.
Who would you take between Tennessee at home and Vanderbilt?
I'm leaning Vandy, but I'm going Tennessee because I'm feeling good for A&M.
But you're leaving Vandy.
Yeah.
All right. And then Texas and Oklahoma. That's in Austin, I believe.
Texas.
So the one that's most likely to happen, they kind of keep saying
Florida
for the perfect weekend. That's most likely. The result A&M doesn't want. That's most likely to happen would be Texas beating Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What happens if Texas beats Oklahoma for A&M perspective?
Well, not a whole lot as long as A&M
wins against LSU. Right.
I'm just saying. I'm trying to think of all the
scenarios
to get A&M into the top.
If A&M beats LSU, the Texas game doesn't matter.
Right.
The multiple timelines.
Yeah.
But if A&M lost, Texas wins, and Texas would be ranked seeded ahead of A&M, I believe, by virtue of having beaten Alabama.
You know they're going to play.
I believe.
A&M and Texas will play in the SEC tournament. That has to happen. That's how the story was written. I didn't write it. It's just how it happens. At some point, they will play.
I look forward to seeing the Aggies beat them.
I do too. I am as well. So our friends at Saturday Down South, I'll read you a little bit about what they say about Texas A&M.
Okay.
Okay, the Aggies desperately needed a win like the one they grabbed Tuesday night when they erased a double-digit deficit to beat Kentucky 96-85, powered by a 40-10 run. The Aggies made 13 of 28, yada, yada, yada. Okay, let's get to the good information. Let's see. They won a quad one game for just the second time in 5 weeks. The Aggies' predictive metrics are superior to Missouri's, offsetting a less impressive 8-10 against top 2 quadrant teams. The Aggies don't have a bad loss, which also means their wins above bubble rank of 41st, just third amongst those SEC bubble teams. Bottom line, don't lose to LSU on Saturday. And if that happens, Bucky McMillan and the boys head to Nashville with some work to do to get into the field of 68. So if they lose to LSU, Saturday down, I read a lot of info to get to that last line. Saturday Down South says A&M will still have work to do if they lose. If they lose to LSU.
Okay. I almost thought it sounded like they still have work to do if they beat LSU.
No, if that happens, as if LSU beats A&M, they still have work to do.
Okay. I still believe that a 10-8 SEC record with wins over Kentucky and Texas should be enough to get you in, but I will acknowledge that in that case, you're really counting on the committees, and that usually doesn't go well.
I think if they lose to LSU, at the very worst, they're a Dayton team. Am I wrong?
I would think that would be the worst, but
freaking Dayton. I'm hating on Dayton.
Dayton. Luke Evangelist a couple of weeks ago was trying to tell me, were you there when he said playing in Dayton is iconic? I'm like, no, it's not. I mean, I get it that
I'd rather play in Dayton than the NIT.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
But I mean, is that iconic?
No.
Has Kentucky ever played in Dayton? Has Kansas?
That's like
the Final Four is iconic.
Yeah, it's like saying the consolation prize or something is iconic.
How about this? The Dayton is iconic for teams that don't make the tournament. For them.
For
Prairie View, iconic.
For the 4-16 seed teams
that
are fighting to get in, Dayton's iconic.
But we're arguing. He said, well, you're in the tournament. I'm like, no, you're not.
No.
The very name of that is the play-in game. Play in. What are you playing into? The tournament.
Because you're not really in the tournament.
Yeah, so I get it when, when you're a fan of the team, you want to say, hey, you always want to put a spin on things, but if you're going to be in media, you need to take a step back and not spin and look at things. Going to Dayton is not iconic. Going to Dayton is like saying going to Shreveport for a bowl game is iconic.
Right. Now, to me, going to Dayton is an opportunity.
Yeah.
If that's,
to play in.
If that's your best way to get in, like that's your only way, great, awesome. We'll clap it out, right?
It's your last gasp chance.
Yeah.
They're saying, okay, we're going to give 4 teams or whatever it is one last chance.
Isn't it a matter of perspective too? Like you're technically in the tournament. You're just not in the 64, right? But you're in a.
It's a play-in.
But they're all a play-in. Playing into the next round.
They're playing it. You're not into the. You're not. All right, in my mind, you're not really in the NCAA tournament until that weekend that starts on Thursday. You got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Well, that's when I think you have the world's attention or the nation's attention, right? That Thursday.
By the very name of it, again, I'll say that it's a play-in game. Play to get in the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Beat LSU so we don't even have to worry about this going to iconic Dayton.
Let's think about some other iconic things in sports like Dayton. You said Shreveport. What else is iconic?
You mean that
isn't really it really isn't iconic?
Let's see. Some of the things that you don't really want to do.
Go 8-4.
The iconic
8-4 season.
That iconic Texas Bowl.
I think it would be. Hey, by the way, if that's what A&M got, let's go back to October. Texas A&M fan. you said, hey, this team's going to be playing in Dayton, we'd be like,
yeah.
I don't think we'd call it iconic. We'd be like, holy cow, that's great.
They'd say, man, that Bucky McMillan.
That guy's coach of the year.
That guy,
Ish.
And it's my understanding, and I find great joy in pointing this out, that if they win, they finish with the same conference record as they had last year with the guy that left A&M with one
the first time ever
player.
First time ever that program that we're speaking of has 15 losses in conference play.
Yeah.
That's not good.
I don't think they made the Big Ten conference tournament.
So they're done.
Yeah, they're done.
They're done.
Yeah, they're done.
I think they have one more regular season game.
Yeah,
right?
they play on Saturday, but
against Illinois.
Yeah.
Put another L.
Illinois is a Sweet 16 floor team.
Yeah.
Well, A&M is playing for an opportunity to get a potentially 5 seed in the SEC tournament.
Mm-hmm.
There was that one tweet that went at Luke saying, your program's doing exactly what it did last year. That's not anything impressive.
Yeah, that's wrong.
That's stupid.
You gotta look at context and all the things that you gotta look at the whole picture of. I said it. I think you agreed with it back in like November. I said, if they win 17 games, they should throw a parade for Bucky McMillan.
Mm-hmm.
If they can just get a winning record, not even asking for the NCAA tournament, with what, as we all know, the situation that he walked into.
Yep.
He has far exceeded what anybody could have predicted.
But for my mental health, for our hope for the SEC tournament seedings, for our hope for an NCAA tournament seeding, higher seeding than possible or than we initially thought, I want them to play their brand of basketball 2-3 times in a row. Right?
The rest of the year.
The rest of the year would be fantastic, right? But I said this yesterday a couple times. I don't want it to be a one-off what you saw against Kentucky for 30 of, 30 of the minutes, I guess. I don't want to see that. I want to see a team that plays their brand of basketball, that hits the double-digit threes, that forces turnovers, that gets to the rim, right? That's what I want to see. And then I think if they do that, especially against a team like LSU, I think they win comfortably.
Yeah, I think so. If they go out, make 13 threes or double-digit threes, get to the free throw line more than 20 times, force more than 10 turnovers, keep their turnover total less than 10, do the things that they do, follow their formula.
It's interesting. So last year, under the Buzz team, the formula was exactly what you just said a moment ago, was getting to the line at least 20 times, offensive rebounds, right? Making it a, what do you call it, a mud fight, I guess, if you will.
Yeah.
Here is, it's similar in the fact that they do like to dirty the waters, but in a sped up kind of way, right?
Yeah. It's only appropriate that Buzz is now coaching a team named for turtles because they want to go slow.
Right. Let's 3 things we want to see this weekend. Let's go, Ob. What do you want to see?
Well, I want to see the Aggies win.
Okay.
I want to see them win in baseball too.
Okay, that's 2.
But I think I don't know what else is there. Look, I just want to see the things that I'm oversimplifying. I should be diving deeper into it, but I want to see them. What I said, I want to see them hit at least a dozen 3-pointers. I want to see them get to the foul line more than 20 times and make at least 75%. And I want to see them keep their turnovers down in the single digits, like 7 or less would be great. You do those 3 things, you're more than likely going to win. Your chance, your percentage to win is 80 or 90%.
I got my 3. Okay. I want a run that knocks out LSU. We had a 40-10 run. I'll take another one, 27-3 run, whatever. I want something and that typically means Dominguez gets a couple threes in there. Clemens gets one. I want to run like that, okay?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that you'll knock out LSU with that, like you knocked out Kentucky. I'd like to see 40-plus bench points.
Okay.
Now, last game you had 50, 54, I think it was.
Because the normal starters came
No, well, that was part of it. But this team, on the regular, their bench averages 36 points a game. I think it's 36.4, something like that. Get it in the 40s. I think that's a very good sign. And the third thing, let's get double-digit fast break points.
Okay.
12, 14, 16, I'm good with that. Because that means that you're controlling the tempo.
All right. I'm looking for the 3 R's.
Rebound?
Ruben,
Ruben.
Rylan, Rashawn. All three of them have big games.
Just like the 3 J's for the Dallas Mavericks back in the day.
Back in the day.
Can you name the 3 J's from the Dallas Mavericks? There's no chance. It was 1994.
Okay, no.
Jamal Mashburn.
Okay.
Jimmy Jackson and
Jason Kidd.
Jason Kidd.
Okay. I would have gotten Jason Kidd.
But you didn't. I gave you an opportunity. You didn't get it.
I didn't.
So you would have gotten it if I would have told you Jason Kidd and Jamal Mashburn and Jimmy Jackson.
Yeah.
Anyway, Obi, should we tell the people what show this is?
Yes, we shall.
Okay. You want to do it?
Sure.
Okay. You want to do the entire thing?
Well, you're watching TexAgs Live, brought to you by David Gardner's Jewelers. He's a gem of a guy. We're sitting here in the Rollo Insurance studio. I'm talking about Jason, Jackson, Keith, and Morgan, and the boys, and the women, too.
Yeah, we like them, too.
Yeah. You are, this is, right now, this first opening of this 3-hour show, the first hour is the Go Hour. That's brought to you by the Warehouse at CC Creations. We're currently in the Holistic Planning Cool Zone.
That's very good.
Okay.
There's a couple more things.
Oh, yeah, there's a couple more things. Of course, there's always more. If you want to be part of the show, you can call us on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Or if you want to text us, call us on the Catalyst Pure Performance Energy text line. That's PPE. Are you down with PPE? Yeah, you know me.
979-693-1150. You were so good at that, I may never do it again.
Except I left out the phone numbers.
Yeah, that's all right. I played it out. That's all right. Let's go around the room and say hi to the people. Behind the glass is a very happy and Astros. Is that an Astros shirt I'm seeing, Cade Bickham? Okay. Space City Astros?
Yes, it is. It is my Space City Astros shirt. It's before they changed the jerseys this last year. It was from the ones before.
Speaking of Space City, the amount of people yesterday, for some reason, I don't know if we were on repeat, on loop, I heard from a lot of Houstonians that were watching TexAgs Live on Space City Home Network.
Okay.
It was a lot.
Good.
I was like, okay, people that wouldn't watch, hey, man, you're on my TV? Yes, I am.
Yeah. Tell your friends. Bring them along.
Yeah, come on. Become a premium subscriber.
Space City. That's
Space City Home Network.
Okay, Space.
As opposed to Away.
Okay.
Let's continue with Cade. Cade, what else?
Well, you guys were talking about things that need to happen for A&M to move up in the seeding for the SEC tournament, and you said that you feel like Vanderbilt will probably get the win against Tennessee.
I didn't say that. I thought I was leaning Vanderbilt, but Tennessee's at home.
Yes, that was what I was going to say. I think because Tennessee's at home, I think that makes it a real tough matchup, and I think that
you could see away A&M teams, I find that Vanderbilt's the most likely.
Okay.
Yes, I agree with that. I don't think Missouri's gonna do much against Arkansas.
I will say that Thompson Bowling Arena, I've been there a few times, and that's a great home court advantage.
Yeah.
Great atmosphere at Thompson Bowling.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, buddy. We go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Reese Nygren. He's said a couple words on the show already. He knew it was Jason Kidd. He just didn't say it out loud.
I did know it was Jason Kidd.
Where did Jason Kidd go to college?
Oh, my goodness. My wife knows that one.
Where did his wife go to college?
I have no idea where Obi's wife went to college.
Well, she went to 2 colleges.
Okay.
She and Jason Kidd both went to Cal Berkeley.
Okay.
And then her other college was the University of Tennessee.
Where did Jimmy Jackson go?
You're throwing
Ohio State.
Ohio State, that's right. And where did Jamal Mashburn go?
Kentucky.
Damn. Sorry. I don't know why we're doing history.
I knew that one was in the SEC. I just didn't know which school it was.
What school did Hakeem Olajuwon go
to? He went to U of H.
All right, there we go.
By Slamma-Jamma.
There we go.
Oh, okay. He's all over it. He knows that.
Yeah, see,
what school did Chris Walker, basketball great, go to?
You're stumping me
Texas
here.
A&M.
Okay. Oh, my God.
All right, go ahead.
So we'll flip over to baseball.
Sorry, I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't put you on blast like that.
It's okay. I needed it. So on the baseball front, Texas A&M saw 7 former baseball players get selected for the MLB Spring Breakout, which is an event consisting of exhibition games between teams with MLB prospects and future stars from March 19th to the 22nd. The 7 Aggies selected was Chris Cortez, Brandon Garcia, Caden Kent, Justin Lampkin, Jace Laviolette, Caden Wilson, and of course, Braden Montgomery.
Great.
A lot
of talent there, buddy.
Yeah, a lot of guys from that team from 3 years ago, 2 years ago. That team must have been pretty good.
And we got a different time of game now, right?
We do have a different time of game. The university announced that the first pitch times for this weekend series against the Oakland Golden Grizzlies will be a doubleheader today beginning at 2 p.m. They will not play on Sunday. They will keep the original 6 p.m. first pitch tonight as well for the second game of the doubleheader. And then Saturday at 2 p.m. will be the final game of the series.
Waiting on that rain, trying to avoid the rain. Yeah. Like Milli Vanilli, blame it on the rain.
Gigamo525 says that we are forecasting a loss to LSU. No, we're predicting a win. We're saying...
I fixed the graphic.
Oh, is there something wrong with your graphic?
Correct. I fixed it.
Way to go, Cade.
So Cade
it probably wasn't even Cade who made the graphic, though.
Cade was forecasting a loss to LSU.
Oh, let's give Cade a chance to change everybody's opinion. Do you think A&M is going to win against LSU, Cade?
Absolutely. I think that this is I feel the most confident about this game that I have in the last couple of weeks, honestly. I think that I think LSU is a good matchup for us, actually, or a good matchup for the Ags, actually. And I think it's good, especially because Ruben and Ryland just got hot last game. I think that bleeds over and carries over into this next game against LSU.
Nygren? I saw your face. You did one of these... almost like you had a stomachache.
I'm always skeptical when people are like, I'm the most confident that I've ever been. Because all I can think about is Charles Barkley when he's like, guarantee, and then the opposite.
You're talking about when the Rockets and the Suns were playing in the 95 playoffs when they were up 2-0? Yeah. You weren't even born?
No, I was not. Okay. That was 11 years before I was born.
Yeah, I was going to say. It's good memory by you, though. It's amazing. Amazing. Anyway, OB, let's hit a break, okay? Got some football stuff to get into, by the way. You like football?
I love football.
All right. Right now, we've done games. We've done like movie songs to kind of equate. Today, we're just going to be very easily and just kind of like in a subdued, confident, but yet quiet tone, 1775.
1775. You know, I can't do it. I can't just be somber or not even.
Fine. Colonel Travis to the Alamo people say, hey, after we win, 1775, go.
Remember the 1775, just like the Alamo. You'll never forget it. Go down there, it's worth fighting for.
It is.
That succulent brisket, that's Texas barbecue. It's worth fighting for.
Yes, it is.
Those amazing pork ribs are worth fighting for. You got
to fight for your right to eat.
You got to fight for your right to enjoy that brisket, those pork ribs. That jalapeno cheese sausage, hey, I guess Santa Ana and his guys, they contributed, to that jalapeno. We can enjoy that. How about that queso? There I go again. Queso mac and cheese. But you know what? There were Hispanic people fighting for the Texans.
Yeah.
Once again, he wasn't at the Alamo, of course, but he fought at San Jacinto. We'll get to that in a few weeks. But yeah, remember 1775.
Remember this phone number, 979-492-6241. You can Google it if you forget. Or you can go to 1775txbbq.com. It's 1775.
It's bueno.
Everyone, David Nuño here for Allen Honda. Had a great conversation with them earlier today. John Allen's the owner. He's been here forever, and also their GM, Rusty Skinner, great guy. Wonderful conversation. They're super local. They're a family-owned dealership, not some massive auto group, and they treat their customers like family because they basically are family. They're Aggie alums. They love Aggie sports, and they've been serving the Brazos Valley with integrity, with passion, and commitment to excellence for over 50 years, which is very rare, by the way, for the independents because people trust them. And that's why they've been doing it for such a long time. Whether you're looking to buy, lease, or service your vehicle, you can count on them for transparent, no pressure experience that puts your needs first. And I can attest to it. Had a great conversation about my own situation with them. Their knowledgeable sales team will help you find the perfect Honda to fit your lifestyle, from fuel-efficient sedans to versatile SUVs. Leasing options are flexible and affordable, making it easy to drive the latest models with confidence. And when it comes to service, their certified technicians only use genuine Honda parts to keep your vehicle running at its best, whether it's routine maintenance for major repairs or whatever it may be. And we know that trust isn't given, it is earned, and that's why generations of local drivers right here in the Brazos Valley and Bryan College Station keep coming back to Allen Honda. As part of the community with Aggie spirit in their hearts, they are here to make everyone's visit wonderful. So visit their showroom or their service lane and find friendly, efficient, and memorable situations when you go to Allen Honda. Come see why so many College Station and Bryan drivers choose Allen Honda for their automotive needs. And remember, gig 'em.
And we're back. It's TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. People are calling you that dude.
What dude?
That dude.
That dude. What people?
People who text the show and on the YouTube page.
The dude?
Is it that dude? I've never watched Big Lebowski.
Oh man,
I'm a
I can't believe I've watched The Big Lebowski and you haven't, David.
Yeah, everybody tells me I would love it. I haven't watched it.
We need a rug
Great
in here to
movie,
bring the room together. Tie the room together.
Yeah,
Is that
a rug would really tie the room together. Yeah,
really tie the room together. Yeah,
never watched it. Sorry.
It was
funny.
Good. You like bowling?
No,
you don't like to bowl.
I mean, I don't dislike the bowl. It's not a passion.
Okay.
It's fine. I like to do it with the kids sometimes. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of good bowling scenes in that movie.
Okay, yeah, that sounds boring.
It's a funny movie.
It's a funny movie. Yeah.
Okay. I like the other bowling movie.
Kingpin.
Kingpin's fantastic.
That was awesome.
Kingpin is fantastic. ESPN and their list.
Okay, speaking.
And their list. This list is teams with the top incoming players for 2026.
Okay.
A&M lands in number 9, in the number 9 position of the top 10. Okay.
Is this a mix of transfer portal and
freshmen?
High school recruits?
Yeah. Okay. And number 9 on the list. It says the top recruits: KJ Edwards, Aaron Gregory, Madden Williams, Bryce Perry Wright, Brandon Arrington. It says the key is for freshmen, watch Edwards, who projects into the running back rotation as Le'Veon Moss moves on. I don't know that to be the case. I hope so. I mean, it'd be great if we have a bunch of options because I know what we have with Morrow. I think I know what we got with Ruben Owens, right? That would be nice. And Tiger Ryden hasn't played yet. We'd like to see that, sure. And Baker as well.
You watch his highlights and you think, man, this guy might be really special. And he's from East Texas. He's a beast from the East. So
I would assume kind of a Morrow kind of year, right, where you start seeing bits and pieces and then a little bit more extended run potentially.
Yeah.
Maybe something like that. I wouldn't say that he would, he's going to necessarily start off in the rotation, but maybe. I hope so. I mean, he's certainly got some great credentials there. It says Gregory is more of an outside target with vertical juice, while Williams is a slot receiver with the speed and skills to create after the catch. Perry can work his way into the defensive end rotation and brings length and twitch off the edge. Goes on to say a bunch of other stuff.
Sounds great.
All good to me. Then it talks about the transfers. And Mike Elko hit the portal to add proven SEC power for production at premium spots. It talks about Isaiah Horton and his big catch ability. It talks about Ricky Gibson. It talks about a bunch of the players throughout. Tafiq Bayard, who I had here in studio just yesterday. So it goes on to say exactly what A&M did, which was get players that have played, if not only in SEC games, but in big Power 4 games, which is very important if you are going to bring in a bunch of transfers, people who have experienced those kind of live bullets before.
The transfers I think are important ones. I mean, they're all important.
The offensive line?
Yeah. Adams and Eccles and
Formby
and Ball from South Carolina.
Yeah, they're all going to be very important. I mean,
give me a good offensive line, I'll give you a good team.
What I hope happens though is like that. Some of those guys that we expect to play a lot are pushed by the young players to where some of those young players are like, you may have played at LSU, you may have played at South Carolina, you may have played here or there, Alabama, but we're just as capable or maybe even further along than people expect.
I was talking to Adam Cushing just the other day, and he said, I don't care who starts, but the best players are going to start. I don't care who they are. If you're a guy that's been around here a while, if you're a transfer, if you're a freshman, if you're the best guy, you're going to start. And I don't care who that is. I love them all, he said. He said, I love them like my children. I'm going to treat them the same. And the best 5 are going to start.
Would you like to hear the top 10 from them?
Yeah, let's hear it.
And you're going to have a comment after I tell you this one.
Okay.
Because I think you were listening to a radio interview this morning that might spark dialogue.
Yeah. They always say this one.
Number 1 on the list.
Just like last year.
LSU.
They were number 1 last year in the transfer portal,
What did you hear Brian Kelly talk about?
Brian Kelly today on with Dusty Dvorak and Danny Cannell said that LSU is spending more than $40 million on their football roster. And I think he would probably know.
Well, they're paying him a lot of money too.
Yeah, they're paying him. That's what he's talking about, how much money there is in sports, college football in particular. Because he said, look, they're paying me a lot of money. They're paying Lane Kiffin a lot of money. He didn't even mention the assistant coaches. He said, and then they're spending like $40 million, more than $40 million.
They said they didn't have money when they were going to fire Brian Kelly. And now they got all the money.
It's funny. The better their team gets, or at least the roster gets, the worse their roads in the state get.
Number 2 on the list.
Yeah.
Ohio State, which is pretty predictable.
Yeah.
Number 3, a Texas school.
Yeah.
Which one do you think it is?
That would be the Texas Longhorns.
No.
Really? Is it SMU?
It's Texas Tech.
Of course, Cody Campbell. What am I thinking?
Yeah, Texas Tech on the list, number 3. Number 4, though, is the Texas Longhorns. It has Cam Coleman featured, obviously, Hollywood Smothers. Number 5, Signettis, Indiana Signettis.
They got so excited now that they're really investing hard in football.
Yeah, they have Josh Hoover, their quarterback now. They're excited about him. Number 6 on the list.
Number 6.
Ole Miss.
Huh.
How did Ole Miss get ahead of A&M?
That's a good question.
I don't know. Number 7 on the list. I thought they lost every player ever. Alabama.
I guess they're really excited about Alabama's
freshman players.
Class.
Yeah, they talk about their freshman players.
Huh.
Number 8 on the list.
But you know what? I always say that if you get a third of your incoming freshmen pan out, you're doing pretty well.
You're doing pretty well, yeah.
Okay.
Number 8 is Notre Dame Fighting Irish. As expected, they should be in the top 10 every year. I mentioned A&M, our favorite school, number 9. Number 10, Oregon.
Oh, yeah, with all that Nike money.
Now, let's go through these teams again real quick before we hit a break and see who made the playoffs and who didn't with that roster. And we'll count out how many of those, all right? We know that LSU did not make it, all right? But you would think more often than not, spending that kind of money at LSU, you'd be in the playoffs.
You would think,
right?
But, you know.
LSU. Ohio State.
But they've been spending that money for years. It just went through Our Lady of the Lake.
Right. Number 2 on the list was Ohio State. They made the playoffs.
Yeah.
3, Texas Tech made the playoffs. Number 4, Texas Longhorns did not.
Did not.
Probably should have, but did not. So that's 2. Number 5, Indiana won it all.
Playoffs.
Number 6, Ole Miss went to the playoffs, had a deep run. Number 7, Alabama.
Playoffs.
Number 8, Notre Dame. Should have been.
Should have.
Number 9, Texas A&M went. Number 10, Oregon went. And number 11, the Miami Hurricanes.
They went.
And then I'll give you the last one, 12, Michigan did not make the playoffs. So out of the top 12 teams, 4 teams didn't make the playoffs, and you can say that 3 probably deserved it.
Yeah, yeah. As much as it pains me to say, Notre Dame and Texas definitely, they were good enough to be in, and they had not have this rule that, oh, hey, we gotta let a group of 5 team in, and then in some cases 2 of them are going to get in. Only this year is the only time it'll happen. Yeah, both those teams should have been in.
All right, we'll hit a break. When we come back, more talking about talking. All right, we're going to talk about talking. We're not going to talk. We're just going to talk about talking.
Talk that talk.
Heritage Films. I think it'd be an awesome documentary to do Olin's hair transitions throughout the years. Because if I remember correctly, when you were in high school, you had long hair at one point. Like
I did, and then when I was about my late 20s, I had very long hair.
Very long hair. And then did you go through a buzz cut era?
Not by choice.
Okay. The lady messed up.
The lady
right?
with the dyslexic barber said she read my plan wrong and went right down the middle of the head.
Well, I mean,
reverse mohawk.
Telling the transitions of Olin's hairstyles and what that does does it ever change your wardrobe when your hair gets longer? Do you change clothes or no?
Well, I mean, I change clothes every day.
No, but like more of like a biker look potentially in your future.
No, I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay.
But maybe I do need to change my wardrobe. You know, maybe you think the Wyvetta thing's not working for me?
I think the Wyvetta thing is great, and I think if you do it like you said on a certain day of the week.
Start doing Wyvetta Wednesday.
Yeah, Wyvetta. So basically, this has nothing to do with the Heritage Films, but I'd love to do a documentary on Olin's hair. That's what I'm saying, and they can do a documentary on everything, on your family business, your family ranch, your grandfather, your mother.
I wish I had a ranch.
Can you imagine Olin the rancher? Yeah. By the way, I watched Marshall's, the Yellowstone spinoff.
Yeah. Did you do a story on them?
The writing. So I knew once they put it on CBS, as opposed to Paramount, I knew the writing was going to go to, because I think network television is terrible.
Yeah, it is.
It was sad. It was the fight scenes. This has nothing to do with Heritage Films, but I just want, if they did a documentary.
Heritage Film probably does a better film job than
they do.
CBS.
If anybody else watched Marshall's, tell me what you think. Am I wrong or right? If you're a Yellowstone fan, I thought it was horrendous, but I'll probably watch more. Anyway, yourheritagefilm.com. Yourheritagefilm.com, 713-893-8341. It's Heritage Films. I wish I had Olin here for it because he loves energy drinks. Catalyst Citrus Spark. This is one of the new flavors out there. Whether you're grinding through workouts, cramming for a test, or closing in on a deal, or getting ready for TexAgs Live, you never know, right? Fast becoming the go-to fuel for Aggies everywhere. Zero sugar. I'm all in for that. Or synthetic sweeteners, no artificial colors or flavors. Catalyst delivers clean, high-performance energy with smooth, crisp taste that is never syrupy, designed for both health and hustle. You want to get going, you use this Catalyst right here. It's about pure energy and pure results. And what sets them apart? Packed with premium nootropics blended to boost focus, clarity, and mental stamina. I need this. I'm in, guys. I'm in. Plus, with plant-based caffeine, vitamin B12, B6, Catalyst supports metabolism and energy production, making it more than a drink. It's your lifestyle training partner.
Built for competitors on the field, Catalyst fuels strength, focus, and pure results. Buy now at drinkcatalyst.com. That is drinkcatalyst.com. Train harder, think sharper, pure results. It's Catalyst. So, OB, can I drop a bruh?
Yeah.
We've talked a lot of basketball, got maybe one or two texts. We've talked football, maybe one or two texts. Talk Marshalls Yellowstone, text galore. People want to talk about the Marshalls, not the place you shop at, for designer underwear. And massage. What else do they sell at Marshalls? They sell everything, right? Clothes.
Chicks dig me because I seldom wear underwear, and when I do, it's usually something unusual. Movie? Anybody know that movie?
No, I thought you were being serious. No.
No one knows that movie?
No.
Somebody just heard that and they know exactly the movie. It was a very popular movie from the 80s.
What movie?
Stripes.
Oh, great movie. Yes. I didn't remember. I was 4 or 3 when it came out, so I don't remember the lines. No. Anyway, we've got some things to get into, but text message just came in about Marshalls.
Yeah, Jeff in College Station said, we're on the same page in regards to Marshalls. Couldn't even get through the first episode. And then we had another texter say, Marshalls left a lot to be desired for a passionate Yellowstone fan. Hey, spoiler, I'll skip it out. I still watch it and will continue for a little while to see if it grows on me. So
here's my thing. I just want to say this, not about Marshalls in general. Why I don't like shows on network TV, ABC, NBC, CBS. They're too formulaic. It's like this. Every episode is for dumb people because you figure it out
and it ends, right? There's no building. Like Yellowstone, the saga built on an entire season. Sure, certain things were decided, but it was a long story. If you watch one CSI, it'll be fixed by the end of the episode. Maybe they'll have a little couple things that go deep, but all network TV is something happens, the main star figures it out, and by the end of it, they win. Every episode. I just told you that's exactly what happened on Marshall's.
Yeah, I don't watch a lot of network TV.
Yeah, I'm out. But you know what I'm not out on?
What?
Pimps that coach college basketball.
Yeah, I heard that story.
I don't know a lot. I just know the headline. I don't know the story. Reese Nygren at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Tell me about the story, please.
Yeah, Cal State Bakersfield is currently in last place in the Big West Conference, but they might have the craziest headline as their assistant coach, Kevin Mays, has been caught as a pimp across 4 different states. It was sent in from then basketball coach Rod Barnes, sent an anonymous email that basically...
Not so anonymous.
Yeah, that it basically tipped off that his assistant coach was a pimp.
Man, that's a dirty trick.
So... I would not.
What does he wear on the sideline, by the way?
Oh, it's a black leather suit.
Does he have a big hat?
Yeah, he's got a hat.
And
he's got a cane.
A cane and those shoes with the goldfish,
but
swimmer.
Look, I'm not saying I understand, but when you're an assistant coach at a school like...
No, he's the head coach.
No, he's an assistant. He's an assistant coach at Cal State Bakersfield.
You're probably making minimum wage.
I covered Bakersfield once in the NCAA tournament.
Huh.
They were actually pretty good. I think they lost to... Oh, it was up in Nashville, by the way.
There's been a lot of stories over the last week. There's like a mayor I think it was a mayor hooking up with a little kid, a 16-year-old.
Yeah, 16, 17.
Like all these stories.
In DeRidder, Louisiana.
And then there's I feel like there's the world, we're in a weird place. People relax. What else, Nygren?
I blame rap music.
More on the Cal State Bakersfield or just other topics?
I thought you had another football topic.
Yeah, we did have another football topic. ESPN did a ranking of all 68 Power 4 quarterbacks.
And how many of them were pimps?
Zero of them.
With NIL, they don't have to.
0 of them, to my knowledge, are pimps.
Pimping ain't easy, Obi.
I wouldn't know, but I'll take your word
for it. There's a song called that.
Marcel Reed came in at number 18 in the rankings, 6th in the SEC, right in front of number 19, John Mateer. ESPN said, when Reed is good, he's otherworldly. He did, after all, lead A&M to an 11-0 start, with the Aggies offense scoring at least 31 points 10 times. But more than potentially elite quarterbacks, he seems to let one mistake drive another one, and the errors added up late in the season. He threw 8 interceptions last 6 games, and A&M scored a total of 20 points in the last 2. Few quarterbacks bring more big play potential to the table. Let's see whether Reed can finish the drill a bit better this time.
I don't know if 18 is fair or not. I think what they wrote is fair.
It's fair, yeah. The critique is fair.
Yeah. Who are the quarterbacks ahead of him?
The SEC quarterbacks in front of him are Trinidad Chambliss, Arch Manning, Gunnar Stockton, Byram Brown, and Sam Levitt.
I don't know if I would take Sam Levitt over him. 2 years ago, I would have.
Yeah, when he had Scattaboo and a really good team around him.
Okay. I mean, but he's a name. Who else is ahead of him?
Number 1 is CJ Carr. Number 9, Brennan.
Hey, by the way, who had a better game?
Marcel.
They both had pretty good games.
Yeah.
I mean, CJ Carr, but I think
one of them threw for 360.
One of them
and
won
a game-winning touchdown.
Yeah, one of them won the game.
Yeah.
And then Brendan Sorsby came in at number 9, and Bear Bachmeyer at BYU came in at number 15.
Okay, I'm telling you right now, you can say what you want about me. I'm taking Marcel over Bear Bachmeyer 100 times out of 100.
I think Billy may have said this, so if I'm stealing it from him, I apologize. But could you imagine if Marcel would have gone in the portal? Everybody would have been calling him. He would have been one of the top 3 names people were calling. I think Marcel would have drawn more phone calls than Sam Levitt.
Yeah.
Do you agree or disagree?
I don't disagree.
So, and he's your starting quarterback, 2nd year as a full-time starter, 3rd year basically,
I've always been very high on Marcel, and I've said it before, and I know you agree with it. I think you're going to see an even better version of Marcel this year than you saw last year.
I think it's interesting that they have Byram Brown in there ahead of Marcel as well. He was the USF quarterback.
USF,
yeah, he was really good, but I think it's difficult to say. I know he's coming over to Auburn with Golish, but kind of difficult to say if he's going to make that extra leap.
He was number 10 on the list, was Byron Brown, right in front of number 11, Darian Mensah. Devin Dampierre came in at 12, Josh Hoover at 13, CJ Bailey at 16, Bryce Underwood at 17, jumping back up to the front of the list.
What did Bryce Underwood do? What did Bryce Underwood? You want to be critiquing Marcel Reed? Tell me what Bryce Underwood did.
Let's talk about that on the other side because we're late for a break. And we got a track and field update to get to as well. Right now, let's talk about Rollo Insurance. Jason Jackson and the boys and the women. We love Rollo Insurance. They are my insurance provider. They are the official insurance provider of TexAgs Live. The studio's named after Rollo Insurance. They are amazing. They have helped me since I got here to College Station. I wish I would have had them before. It would have saved me a lot of money. They do all the shopping for you so that you can just focus on what your insurance is when you need your insurance, right? They'll specialize in home, car, ranch, you name it. You'll get a personal agent's number, and he's going to take great care of you, know your whole situation, and make sure that you're always covered. Check out the website, rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. That's rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. Or call them up, 888-44-ROLLO. That is 888-44-ROLLO. It's Rollo Insurance.
Hey friends, David Nuño here for Prize Picks. They're back on TexAgs, prizepicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to get $50 once you play in $5 lineups. And Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Football season's here, basketball coming up, baseball, you name it. You go to prizepicks.com/TexAgs and start having some fun watching sports, making some money on there. And you can play Prize Picks in over 40 states, including California and Texas. Remember, they'll give you $50 in lineups once you play $5 lineups on Prize Picks. And they have the new thing. It's called It's Good to Be Right campaign, and they're kicking off the upcoming NFL season with their bold new campaign, It's Good to Be Right. The seasonal long push celebrates the thrills of getting it right, from the perfect prediction to winning your Prize Picks lineups. Prize Picks, it's good to be right.
And we're back, TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. The Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. Still hanging out at the Holistic Planning Cool Zone. Speaking of shows, you're not a Peaky Blinders guy, right?
Yeah, I've seen it. I liked it.
All of them? All the episodes?
I don't think I've seen them.
Oh, you're missing out, bro. The movie comes out today, but I think it's on Netflix on the 20th. So watch Peaky Blinders.
Okay.
It's great. All right, Reese Nygren, Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Give us a track update,
Yeah,
please.
we do have a track update. They will at E.B. Cushing Stadium, Texas A&M will host the high school Bluebonnet Invitational, which includes 100-plus high schools, including a couple from California and Louisiana. That event will start today at 11:30. It is a high school track meet, but it will be run like a college track meet, so very fast-paced. It's today, the 6th, and tomorrow, the 7th.
I like track and field. I'm not saying we're going to go over there and see that because I got other things going on. My son's in town, but I like track and field. I like to watch those relays especially.
Yeah, my good friend Pat Henry, still doing amazing work. National championship not long ago. Still the best recruiter. Still running the best program. Hey, OB asked you a question, and then I think we talked about it a little bit at the break, but we didn't bring it back to light on the air. What was the question about?
He was asking what they said about Bryce Underwood that would make him better than Marcel Reed coming into this year. And I'll read off just some quick stats. Bryce Underwood's QBR 72.6, 2,400 passing yards, 11 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 60% completion percentage, 506 non-sack rushing yards, and 6 touchdowns. Marcel Reed, for a refresher, 75.6 QBR, 3,100 passing yards, 25 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 62% completion percentage, 593 non-sack yards, and 6 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think Marcel's better.
Yeah, he is better. Let me do one quick thing. We got about 30 seconds here, OB. It's time for Bank on It, brought to you by Vera Bank. I'm banking on Marcus Hill, bounce back game, double digits. Hopefully we got a lot of guys with double digits, but he'll be one of them.
I'm going to bank on Rylan and Ruben keeping it going. They broke out of it. They broke out of the hibernation. Now go feast.
Thank you, OB. Appreciate you. When we come back, we're going to pound the rock with Tap and Luke, and then we'll have the baseball bunch. Then we'll have Billy Liucci. Then we'll have, I don't know, maybe more. It's TexAgs. Welcome back to TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Hour number 2 of the program, time for Pounding the Rock. We got Tap on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline on the phone, and we got Luke Evangelist here in studio. Tap, what's up, buddy?
Hey, David, how are you? Can you hear me, I hope?
Yes, sir. Got you good. Luke, what's up, man?
Hey, guys.
Hey, you had like a 30-minute segment during the break here without putting your mic on. All right, we're good now. So I want to go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center because, not breaking news, but breaking projections from Joe Lunardi within the last few minutes.
Yeah, Joey Brackets at ESPN has Texas A&M as a 10 seed, still in the last 4 byes. They would face Villanova as the 7 seed with Florida as the 2 seed in Tampa Bay.
Gulp. So let's talk about it in multiple ways. Okay. First off, selfishly, I think that sounds like a great trip. I think going to Florida, Central Florida would be fantastic. I don't love the idea of playing Florida in the second round if A&M were to win.
I don't either. Hey,
but I don't like anybody in the second round, right?
I would like Michigan State or Illinois better than having to play Florida. That's for sure. I don't think anybody wants to see Florida.
Okay.
Especially not A&M.
But as I told Nygren earlier, and I'd love to hear what Tap thinks, buddy, we've seen it already. Just like teams have seen buckyball, they've adjusted. We've seen Florida at their best. We can adjust.
Absolutely. And A&M didn't shoot the ball well at all against Florida, and that's a totally different game with totally different game pressure on them, and A&M was actually getting stops in the first half. Yeah, I'd like to see Florida again, maybe in the SEC tournament. I just don't know about the NCAA tournament.
Well, that might mean playing them in the SEC final and then maybe playing them a third time. Anyway, Tap, what do you think about that projection, though, a 10 seed in, going to Tampa?
Well, let's face it, if they're playing Florida in the finals, they're not going to be a 10 seed. They're probably going to jump some people, and so you won't have to worry about that. But, I feel like in my history, and I don't study it like Luke or a lot of these other guys, Joe Lunardi usually pretty much ends up pretty good with the numbers, but where he sends people, that's where I think he differs from the NCAA. So, again, I've been to Tampa with the former company I worked with. Home office was in Tampa, and I've had some very good times in Tampa. But, again, I think they're going to try to keep it. I know it gets impossible with these conferences having so many teams. Second round still seems early to play conferences against each other.
Yeah, I agree. Guys, let's kind of go back earlier in the week and what that Kentucky win means moving forward. Tap, you can start us off. I want that win to mean something, and I feel like the only way it really means something is by following it up with another great performance.
You're right. I mean, they can't just say, okay, we beat Kentucky. They're going to have to go to Baton Rouge. But I have a good friend of mine, and right now baseball's going on. They could care less about basketball at LSU. I know they're playing pretty well. But, I mean, he's texting me every day. Matt McMahon's got to go. He's got to go. Tell Bucky to beat us bad so we can fire him. So there's a lot of talk over there at negativity. But you know what? It showed the Aggies could show up when they needed to. And it had to bring confidence back in the players, but also the fans, and maybe even the committee.
Luke?
Yeah, I mean, if they lose that game, it's not the end of the world, but that would mean there's now no margin for error because they would have had to beat LSU. They probably would have been the 8 or the 9 in the SEC tournament, and then they would have had to have beaten maybe South Carolina in the first round, and then they would have had to beat Texas to make up for that and survive any bid stealers, survive Dayton. That Kentucky win may not have moved them up a whole seed line because of what other bubble teams like Ohio State did and what Missouri has done, what Texas has done of late, but it widened the gap between the 10 seeds and the 11 seeds, and it has put A&M one win away, whether that be in Baton Rouge or in Nashville, from effectively locking up their spot in the NCAA tournament, regardless of what happens with bid stealers and other teams on the bubble.
All right, so I want you to kind of go a little bit deeper into that and explore what you think are outcomes based on what happens here and beyond. So they win against LSU, they lose against LSU. They lose against LSU, they lose their first game in SEC. Like, kind of go through some scenarios of what you think. Like, you think at the very least right now, at the very least, they're a Dayton team? Or you're not ready to say that
If they don't
yet?
win another game this year, it's possible they could get in, but I think you'd be sweating. I think you'd be really sweating on Selection Sunday. I think just one more win, no matter where it is, the rest of the year they're in. If you beat LSU and let's say they get the 5 seed in Nashville and they win a game and then lose to number 4 Tennessee, you're solidly a 10 seed. Any more wins in Nashville and you might just play your way into a 9, which this might be the worst year to ever do that because I don't know if anyone has seen the 1 seeds, but they're like historically elite this year. They all have size. I don't think A&M would want to do that, but then again, they're just trying to go out there and win an SEC tournament. And if playing yourself into the SEC championship in year 1 of Bucky McMillan means you have to have a worse seed in March Madness, is that really the end of the world? Because they're proving that their style can work in tournament play. And maybe they go shock a 1 seed, right? But there are certain scenarios where the gap between the 7s and the 10s are so small this year that A&M could very well play themselves into even an 8 seed. Like that is still very much a possibility. If they lose to LSU, get the 8 seed in Nashville, maybe they play Vanderbilt or Texas or Georgia in the first round, you would definitely want to win that game just to feel safe and feel above Dayton when it comes time for Selection Sunday. But, anything less than, if they don't win another game this year, they're either headed to Dayton or they're not going to make the tournament. They have not reached lock status yet, but that Kentucky win has put them 1 win away from being a lock, avoiding Dayton.
Tap, did you see the Dominguez breakout coming? Did you feel like had anything in his game that recently that you saw, or was it just the willingness to shoot finally when Bucky told him, you got to shoot?
Well, he's too good of a shooter not to continue in that slump. I felt like he finally was able to get some space. Now, again, I'm going to say it's because we did such a good job of getting him open and moving without the basketball. But, there's a part of me that says, I'm not sure Kentucky was really up in his face as much as we've seen over these last few games. So, again, I love to see it and I want it to continue. But we either have to figure out how to create space for him or hope that they back off of him like I thought Kentucky did that game.
I actually thought Ruben did a great job of creating looks for himself. He had that mid-range shot. And then one of his threes was like a step back on Colin Chandler. Like he looked like he was going to drive in the lane and fully stepped back and shot a step back 3. Like I thought that was very impressive from Ruben and someone who hasn't really been able to, like in his slump, it was kind of, if he caught the ball and didn't like the shot, he was very hesitant to shoot and it was very much just catch and shoot. I thought against Kentucky, he was hunting his shot and was actually creating for himself. And if he didn't like that first look, okay, he was going to dribble, drive, and find a teammate. Similar to what you're seeing in this Ole Miss clip, too. I think these last couple of weeks, since the Oklahoma game, you've seen a more aggressive Ruben Dominguez hunting his shot or at least driving and finding a teammate than you did before. And while not every look fell for him since that Oklahoma game, it's just a matter of you knew he was going to break out at any moment because his shots aren't missing by much, right? You don't see Ruben airballing. You don't see him completely missing the rim. His shots are close to going in. Now, once they do finally start falling, we've seen what that can do for his confidence, and he's a guy that we've seen make 10 threes in a game, 7 threes in a game. He is the X factor for this team and has the potential to make 8 threes in a March Madness game and go down as a legend because he gets hot at the right time.
By the way, this team is 8-1 when he hits 4 or more three-point shots. He is. So if you want your formula, that's your formula, right?
They're 8-2 when Rylan hits 3 or more, and they're undefeated when they both hit 3 or more.
So get those guys their shots, you're going to win games.
Exactly.
The lone loss was to Tennessee where he hit 4.
And he had that look in overtime that I think we all thought was going in with like 40 seconds left.
Yeah, absolutely. Tap, Jakari Lane obviously did not play. How important do you think he is if this team is going to make a run in Nashville and beyond?
Now, again, I've been out of town, so I don't know if I heard why or what it is, but I thought he looked tired those few games before, and he wasn't as effective. So, again, it was a good move. Pop seems like he's very comfortable as a starter, and likes it. But, again, I just think as all season long, Pop can be a little mercurial. He's, up and down, where I think Jakari brings you that. When you get to the tournament, at times, you got to have that person that's a straight line and it's going to go out there and you know what you're going to get.
Yeah, I think there's no better motivator than the bench, right? Jakari hadn't been playing well. And ultimately, he's the smallest guard in the league. Maybe that physicality and level of athleticism had caught up to him. And also, another factor is, Ruben not shooting as well and his teammates not shooting the ball as well means teams don't really feel any pressure to go guard shooters, right? They can help in the lane because there's less fear that Ruben Dominguez is going to hit you for multiple threes. So that tightens up the windows for Ja'Carri. He's not able to drive as freely, and teams have figured out the middle ball screen because they don't have to help off of shooters. And so that just kind of, for a guy that needs every extra half second and needs every half inch of space, like Ja'Carri because he's undersized, those windows tightened up for him. And so you kind of didn't see him play as well over the last couple of weeks. And now, thank goodness this team has another point guard in Pop that can run the show, and he did it effectively. But you're going to need that steady hand of Ja'Carri Lane, who just makes winning plays when he's on. Pop is kind of playing with fire, and you're going to get some WTF turnovers, some head scratchers, but you can live with that when Pop gets you 8 assists. Ja'Carri is that kind of player that, in reliable moments, he most of the time makes the right play and the winning play. And if you can get him back to that and get him hungry, get him motivated, and maybe seeing the bench for an entire game gets him that, this team will just be better and better because you need that reliable second point guard. If Pop gets in foul trouble or is just turning the ball over way too much, I think you'd rather have Ja'Carri in there and then maybe a Josh Holloway who is a little bit more helter-skelter than Pop.
I do want to get more into Pop in a moment because I think he is very important to their success. I'm sure this is just a coincidence, but it seems like when Marcus Hill has really good games, A&M has been losing. And when he doesn't have really, I'm just looking at through these, like the Texas game, he had 17, Arkansas 10. Let's see some other good. Vanderbilt, he had 20. He had 18 against Alabama. He had 17 against Florida. And he had 6 against Kentucky, and they ended up winning. I'm sure it's just a coincidence. To me, he is very important, but maybe if he's taking a lot of those shots or scoring a lot of points, it might mean some of those other guys are not getting their buckets, and that's why.
I think a lot of those times he went off was because nobody else was.
Right.
And if he didn't go off, they would have lost by a lot more.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't think there's a correlation, maybe just kind of like an interesting tidbit, because when Marcus Hill's healthy and he's driving to the basket, he's the best version of himself.
He's my favorite player to watch sometimes, man.
And this team is the best version of themselves. There have been so many times, like at Georgia, when you first saw he was fully healthy, or against SMU when literally nobody else could make a shot and Marcus kept him in that game, where he has been like the only player to score for 4+ minutes. Because when, like you see now, when he's aggressive off the dribble and when he finishes at the rim, there really is no better guard at getting downhill on this team than him. And he's just a hard-nosed Chicago kid. And a pure scorer in that as well. Hasn't really been able to shoot the three. That's okay. We know that's not his game. But a healthy Marcus Hill, as we've seen over the last month, is the best thing possible for this team. And I think it's more of the rest of the team didn't really play it well enough around him for him
I thought.
To win with 20 points.
Tap, let's talk a little bit about Pop Isaacs. And when he's good, A&M is good, and you can say that about a lot of guys on this roster. What have you seen from him when he's at his best and then when he is struggling a little bit?
When he's at his best, he's great. Again, there's still times I feel like, I just feel like he thinks he should take over the game. And at this point, I think he understands his role, but I think he wants to be more than his role sometimes. And that's why I say he's kind of mercurial. Like, I think there are times where I see people open and he's still trying to finish. And sometimes he gets to the line and not. But when he's on, and I hope he gets back hot, because he was for a while when he was playing more of the two, he was really getting some open looks and knocking down some open threes. So, but we saw pretty much, I thought, his whole game the other day where he was sticking it to the basket, plus knocking down some threes and then getting fouled, getting to the line. But, I just wish there were a couple of times he made some passes, though, that were his teammates had to bail him out on those passes, or we got the, hey, that was on me, pounded his chest afterwards. So again, just as Luke said, sometimes you need that steady hand a little bit more than the up and down and the more higher side potential.
I found this kind of funny from Malton in Dime Box. He says, after Tuesday when Nuño said A&M would run Miami, Ohio out of the gym, I'm convinced we're going to play them in Dayton. I don't remember saying that. It sounds like something I would probably say. I don't know if we'd run them out of the gym. If I said that, I was just talking. But a team that doesn't lose, I wouldn't want to play.
And you look at the competition they've played and you're like, oh, A&M will probably beat those teams. Well, Miami of Ohio is, if you actually watch any of their games, They make every single winning play. Like, they'll be down 5 with 4 minutes left, and they'll win every time. They are, I think, well, obviously they're undefeated, but I think they're like 12-0 in games decided by 4 points or less. That's a team.
They know how to win.
Yeah, they know how to win. That's what you look at with culture of, well, first of all, I mean, I don't even think they're the best team in the MAC. Like, Akron, I think people agree Akron might actually be the best team. But you talk about learning how to win, right? Like, there are players on this team that have never been to March Madness before. Jakari Lane has been a winner everywhere he's went. Rylan Griffin has won everywhere he's went. There's something to be said about having that culture where you learn how to win. They blew that SMU game, blew the UCF game, blew the Tennessee game, should have beat Alabama, should have beat Missouri. There's going to come a time where they win more games like that than they lose. And I think if anybody watches Miami of Ohio, if there's anything you take away from them, it's that they know how to win, and everybody on that team knows how to win. So I do think it's an encouraging sign that A&M, not to totally hijack that question, has won some of those close games and close moments, but that's a team in Miami of Ohio that does it every single time.
All right, LSU, how does A&M beat them? I know they're not good, but they're playing teams tight.
Well, they are good. That's the problem, is every team in this league is good.
Okay, they're not winning a lot of games.
They're not winning a lot of games, but they are in games. Mm-hmm. And you saw that the first time A&M played them. A&M was losing with like 6 minutes to go, and they ended up winning that game, I think, by 5 or 6. But it was all because they forced like 3 turnovers in the span of a minute and a half and completely flipped the momentum of that game going with their pressure. A lot of that had to do with you caught LSU at a really unfortunate time for them. You were the first team to play them after DJ Thomas went down with an injury. Thought he was day-to-day, may play the first game. Turns out he missed pretty much the entire SEC play. Came back for 3 games, wasn't fully healthy, so they shut him down for the year. So the LSU that you saw the first time and you're like, oh, well, you're going to have to play him at full strength. I don't know if you beat him in Baton Rouge. You're getting that exact same version of LSU. They've now just only won 3 games throughout SEC play, but they've been close. They've beaten Ole Miss. They've beaten South Carolina. Like, this is a team that if you don't show up on the road in their gym, weird things happen in the PMAC. You can absolutely lose this game because they start 6'6", 6'7", 6'9", 6'10", and they're an elite rebounding team. A&M did well to neutralize the rebounding the first time, but they forced 16 turnovers, and that's got to be their recipe to success again. Can you force double-digit turnovers because they don't have a true ball handler? You caught them at the right time where they had to insert their freshman backup point guard to handle the ball against that pressure. That's why they turned it over so much. But now they've had 2 months to adjust. So how can you turn them over again? You're going to have to be aggressive without fouling. Definitely cannot send them to the free throw line. And then A&M's got to shoot the 3 significantly better than they did the first time. Only 28%. They only made 8. But they found a way to win with their pressure. If you get pressure and 3-point shooting and neutralizing rebounding, A&M should win by multiple possessions.
Tap to Luke's point, though, I think A&M hadn't realized who they were at that game, right? So LSU's had to come from a lot of changes. A&M realized they're a really good team. Hopefully they're out of the that rough patch that we saw in February. What do you think the key is to winning on Saturday?
Again, I'm hoping that, the LSU fans are like my friend and kind of written off the basketball team. So there may not be, much of a crowd at the PMAC. But I think Luke hit it. But, again, you said it too, David. A&M knows who they are now. The roles are established. Now, maybe, Pop's going to be more of the starter. Do they start him down the road and Jakari comes off the bench, which is fine by me because I don't think that's going to affect him. But it's just A&M's got to do what they do and stay within themselves. I know that's coach speak, but all of a sudden we don't need Ruben trying to finish at the basket consistently or Rashawn, hit your wide open looks, but don't try to create, wide open looks beyond the perimeter. So again, they know who they are. LSU knows, I think are still probably trying to figure it out. So to me, even though it's on the road, I think the Aggies should have the advantage.
Appreciate you, Tap. Thank you, Luke. Appreciate you.
Thank you all.
All right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back with the baseball bunch. Right now, let's talk about our good friends at Paragon Financial Advisors. If you're getting serious about your finances, take a look at Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors. They're an independent fiduciary serving clients all across Texas. No commissions, no sales pitches, just thoughtful financial planning and investment management. And what makes them different is the depth of their team. They've got 8 CFP professionals, a CFA all on staff, and their credentials matter. And so does doing what's right for their client. What you need to do is visit the website, paragon-adv.com, or call them up 979-693-3907 to schedule your free consultation today. It is Paragon Financial Advisors, integrity, expertise, and trust. Paragon Financial Advisors. And we're back. Not good?
It's a lot of RPMs.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the TrackMan data on it.
We are not getting a lot of shots up per minute either. It is slow paced.
Your mic's not on, buddy. Let's act like we've been here before. It's TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner.
I wasn't set up to succeed.
No, that's true. It's Cade's fault. The panicking Cade Bickham.
Whoa.
He actually didn't even hand me my microphone.
Yeah, but he's in charge. And I'm in charge of him, so ultimately I'm...
And if Cooper would get his head out of the Papa shot...
Is that extreme?
Maybe he could focus on getting me a microphone that's turned on.
Way to go, Cooper.
All I did was I went in there and trolled him and said that, for those of you that don't know, the Papa Shot game that has taken over TexAgs has a leader currently that is an intern here, Cooper Patterson, at 138 points. I went in there and trolled him and said, hey, Richard just hit 135. And as soon as I said that, he started thinking about how worried he was about his Papa Shot record. And therefore, he handed me a mic that wasn't turned on. So like one little simple thing threw him off his game.
And for the record, I'm 35 points away from Cooper's record.
Okay, you're not that
I'm not
close.
even close.
But we trolled him.
Have you ever played the Papa Shot game or no?
Oh, yeah, I've been there shoot. I haven't turned it on, but I can go there and shoot, yeah.
Okay.
Olin made 55 out of 100 free throws today.
That's actually better than I would have predicted.
You could play for Maryland.
Play for Buzz Williams.
Hey, everybody, let's talk some baseball with our friends.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Before we do talk about baseball, can I say something? Because I know Kate is running the show today for Nick. Because if you are a listener to Texas A&M baseball, you're going to get to hear double the Nick Savage today. He calls both games of this afternoon's doubleheader.
Yeah.
And I think it is super awesome. I've told Nick this last time when he called the games last year. The fact that he is still chasing that dream and doing a damn good job of doing it is really awesome. And if you're going to tune into radio, you're going to be very, very impressed with him. And also shout out to Andrew Monaco for giving young broadcasters like Nick and Giovanni and also this guy some airtime.
I thought you were going to give a shout out to Cade Bickham, who's...
And Cade. His hair.
Fade Bickham. You notice his haircut?
I didn't really notice it, no.
It's kind of like a young Jaromir Jagr right now.
Jaromir Jagr.
That's
wow.
old school right
like
there.
Mullet with the curls. Like, it's looking solid.
Yeah.
B team returns next week.
I've heard of that many times.
All right. All right.
I've been in the meetings.
Next time all right. Well, I'm going to leave off-air stuff off-air, but you just tried to bring off-air stuff on air.
What did I do?
I'm just going to leave it off-air.
All right. A&M, 11-1, outscoring their opponents 119-39. They've done it without some pieces of their offense. Let's talk a little bit about it. How I know the competition has not been extremely fierce other than UCLA. I thought the Arlington matchups were impressive wins. How do we feel about them heading into this series against Oakland and then obviously the SEC beginning next week? Ronnie, you start us off.
Yeah, when you look at those overall numbers, especially the run differentials, I think that's more attributed to what they've gotten on the mound. Like, we figured that this offense was going to be really good. They have gotten favorable weather conditions at home in a lot of these midweeks and then the early weekends. I think there was just those two games against Penn where it was cold and blustery north wind. And so you've had some days that the offense, the ballpark was going to be offensive. So I'm not super surprised at the run production, even without Wesley Jordan and Chris Akopian. But one of the bigger questions that everybody had coming into the season about this team was, what are they going to do on the mound? How's it going to look? How's Shane Sadeo bounce back? How does Weston Moss look moving into a starter's role? What are they going to get on Sunday out of Aiden Sims? What's the back end look like? You know, that was an area last year that even though it got better throughout the season, early on in 2025, the bullpen struggled. And Clayton Freshcorn got beat around, and they just didn't have any answers on the back end of games. And now it looks like they may have a few answers on the back end of games, and they may be doing it both-handed with Ethan Darden and Josh Stewart and Clayton Freshcorn. And then, Juan Vargas' start the other day I thought was really intriguing. So credit to Jason Kelly and the pitching staff. I think whenever I'm evaluating the first dozen games of the season, that would be the element of the team that has just been better than I thought so far. Now, they're about to see a major uptick in competition. Let's see if they can hold that form. But the pitching so far has been, for me, kind of the biggest check mark.
What's the stat? 1.73 walks per 9 innings, basically. That's
they're the best in the country in strikeout to walk ratio, but they're not like top 10 or I can't remember where they're at in total strikeouts. So if you're not going to have the strikeout numbers be insanely high, the walk numbers have got to be insanely low for you to lead the country in K to walk ratio. And again, that's a huge credit to JK. And like everybody, I felt like kind of overlooked the job that they did last year on the mound. because of the early season struggles. There was a lot of, I think, a faction of the fan base that just assumed the pitching was bad. It was not last year. The numbers bear that out. But it has been noticeably better through 12 games this year.
So far, so good, in my opinion. Right, the offense has been pretty solid, even without those two big bats, top of the lineup, Kopian and Jordan being out for the last couple of weeks. They've still found ways to put up runs. We talked about last weekend in Arlington. They saw a pretty good arm from Virginia Tech. They did what they needed to do. They got him out of the game, and then they blew him out. And then that was a pretty good offense from Arizona State that they saw, and they held him down for the most part. And even though Aiden Sims wasn't at his best, right? They won those 2 games. Sometimes you're going to get bloodied in baseball. Sometimes that happens when you face the top team in the country, and that happened last Saturday. But nothing, in my opinion, has changed about this club so far, right? The pitching's been fantastic to this point. The offense has gotten it done, even though they've been shorthanded. And they're in a good spot right now, other than the 2 injuries they're battling through, as they've got 1 more non-conference weekend left. And I'd like to see the offense, if they're going to be without Hakopian and Jordan moving forward, at least this weekend, continue to show positive signs, continue to put up big-time run numbers before they go see a uptick in pitching next weekend in Norman.
Ronnie, how does it, regardless of record and batting average, just how it looks, the brand of baseball, how it looks, does it match or does it exceed what you thought it was going to look like?
Well, I think whenever we were going into the year, one of the things that I just kept pounding the table on was like, I think it's going to look different. And even the most skeptical of the A&M fan base about the coaching situation and Mike Early, like they would have to acknowledge that this looks different. It feels different when you go to the ballpark. You have seen them not only talk about their plan and some of the things they were going to change, but you've actually seen them, take it into action. I think about Gavin Grahovic getting hit with the bases loaded the other day on a ball. He's just not going to move, and they have been telling us they're not going to get out of the way of pitches anymore. And we've seen that come to fruition, and it's not about Gavin hitting a 3-run double or a grand slam. It's about Gavin getting on first base. And I think the entire team has adopted that mindset. And whenever you have the leaders of the club taking hold of the bedrocks of what you want your offense to be, I think it permeates the rest of the club. And you look at just that game the other day against Incarnate Word. You had that bases loaded hit by pitch by Grahovic. And then how do they win the game? How do they walk off with a run rule? It's a bases loaded hit by pitch to Boston Kellner, a true freshman. And I loved his reaction. He celebrated that. It's a 10-run rule in a midweek on a hit by pitch, and he celebrated that because that is important to this team. And so when Boston Kellner sees Gavin Grahovic do it, it's a lot easier for those younger guys to buy into it. And I think very much so that they are making lineup decisions, batting order decisions based on guys that they can trust to do the things they've been, like, not asked to do, told to do. Asking somebody to do something means you've given them a choice. These guys have been told to do this, and if you do not do this, you will not play. And I think we're seeing some of that now, especially with the injuries.
I mean, I think about the Saturday against Penn and the approach and how they got away from it, and then the message after the game inside behind closed doors that Early delivered to his club. They've responded perfectly. The approach in every game since, even in the 11-1 loss to UCLA, has been much better. Right? That's the kind of brand. That's the brand of baseball they want to play. And then when you think about the way it looks defensively, it looks cleaner than I expected it to. And that's what
981 or 984 fielding percentage.
And that's with 2 freshmen playing the left side of the infield, who at this point they don't even consider them freshmen. The mentality is much more mature than you would expect of 18, 19-year-old
It's not just that.
kids.
I don't mean to cut you off. Think about this. It's 2 freshmen on the left side of the infield. It's been a revolving door at second base because of injuries. You have a first baseman that had never played there before this year. You have a catcher who has made enormous strides defensively.
Yes, he has.
Enormous. Then you have an outfield where 2 of the 3 spots are elite defenders in Caden Sorrell and Terrence Keel. The other spot, Jake Dewar has had to put a lot of work in left field to get his defensive level up to a standard where he can play in the SEC and play every day. Once Wesley Jordan comes back, I think he'll go back to being your everyday left fielder. But in the meantime, while he's taking over the DH role, you're going to slide Jorian Wilson in there in right field, and it is big-time tools too. And so everybody talks about Kellner and Partita and how good they've been, and they have. Like, this team is, I don't know that they're 11-1 without those 2 guys. They have been immense for this ball club. But there's a lot more going on defensively around just outside of just those 2 that puts a giant feather in the cap of Cliff Pennington Again, it's only through 12 games. We've got to see this continue on, especially against greater competition. But an area that was a massive, massive problem early in 2025, here early in 2026, they have been rock solid defensively.
Well, and I'm glad we got to hit a break here, but early yesterday when we asked them about that, just talked about it, it doesn't really come up. And that's a good thing when your defense doesn't really come up.
It's like your offensive line, right?
Yeah.
Like
you don't want them to be noticed.
Yeah, you go through a game and the offensive line didn't get talked about on the broadcast, and you win the football game, and hey, Marcel didn't even get touched today.
Mm-hmm.
It's like after the game, you go, man, those guys played really well. But in the moment, you miss it. Then A&M, what has been the main talking point that they've repeated over and over? They want to do the common things uncommonly well. Well, one of the most common things in baseball is making the routine play. You are not going to making spectacular plays in the outfield like Caden Sorrell and TK can, or even the play that Sawyer Farr made up the middle against Penn. I don't know if it won you the game, but it gets highlighted. But the reason why those are big plays is because around them, you're making the routine ones, right? And that is winning baseball. Winning baseball isn't making the great play defensively. Winning baseball is picking up the two-hopper that's hit right at you and throwing it to first at an incredibly high percentage, and they're doing that.
Yep. All right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back with more Baseball Bunch. Right now, a moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell, online at caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. If you're in the BCS area or anywhere in the Brazos Valley and you're in the market for a new vehicle, you owe it to yourself to check out Caldwell Country Chevrolet. They're stocked and ready to deal on everything, and they have a lot of good pickups and SUVs for you to check out. They're a fantastic place, locally owned. Aggie alumni team knows how to take care of their customers. And as you've been told many, many times, every vehicle comes with that free oil change for life as long as you own that vehicle from Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Stop settling for big city prices and high-pressure tactics. Come experience the difference with a hometown feel when you go to Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Remember, it's about a 15-minute drive the edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell. Short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the great people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. And we're back. It's the Baseball Bunch. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. So Caden Sorrell leads the team with 6 home runs, 21 RBI, 878 slugging percentage, 5 multi-RBI performances. I don't watch enough other baseball to know who else like in the SEC is doing that kind of stuff. I'm sure there are guys, but Bronny?
Off the top of my head, I would say, well, nobody at LSU. LSU is really struggling to swing the bat right now.
Uh-huh.
Ace Reese at Mississippi State. I don't know that anybody is going to. I'm sure I'm missing. I have to be missing. So, one of the kids at Florida. Anyway, Aiden Robbins has had a good start for Texas. Among
the top guys.
Yeah, among the top guys in the league, no question. And with Caden, he's so good. And from a mentality standpoint, he is in ambush mode from the time he steps in the box. He likes to hit early in counts. So all he has to do is control himself.
Right.
When he went through that, it was essentially 2 games against Corpus and then against game 1 against Penn, where he was like 0 for 7 in a row and it was a bunch of strikeouts. He was swinging at everything. And like strike, not strike, it didn't matter. He was swinging the bat. And it's a blessing and a curse, right? Because he's so gifted that sometimes he's going to get to one of these fastballs up around his shoulders and he's going to hit it out of the ballpark. But it's just not enough to justify you swinging at it all the time. So if he controls his swing decisions, he is going to have an incredible season. We've already seen why he's so highly regarded in the eyes of Major League Baseball. But he is, if we were, let's just say he extrapolates this small sample size into a full season of production, maybe not this rate, but similar, right? And then, in the summer and the fall, Richard and I sat down and said, all right, we're going to do an Aggie baseball draft since the year 2000. I think Caden Sorrell would be on one of our outfields, like no question. He'd be up there with Tyler Naquin and Nick Banks and Jace Lavalette and Braden Montgomery. Like he is of that echelon of player. And I mean, really outside of the season we saw from Braden, he's putting together just a sensational campaign so far. And so got to stay healthy.
Yeah.
But, man, he's so good.
Richard, I look at him and I'm like, we all know how great he is and how good he's done these last few years, but I still feel like sometimes he's not top of mind when talking, right?
No, and I think a lot of that is because of who he's played with in his first 2 years and who took the headlines from him, right? As a true freshman, he wasn't in the opening day starting lineup, but the talent was undeniable, and he ended up being a major player for them on that run to Omaha. But who was generating all the headlines, right? It was the A&M brothers, as I called them. It was Montgomery and Lavalette going home run for home run. And Montgomery's obviously one of the top prospects in the White Sox organization right now. And then last year, what was it? It was Jace Lavalette chasing down Dalen Holt for the career home run record. And quietly, and also Caden was on the shelf for a little while with that hamstring tear. But you saw what he did in the second half of the year when he came back. The OPS numbers were insane, and it just gave you a taste of what he could do when fully healthy and gave you something to grow on. And now that he's fully healthy and the spotlight's on him, he's not running from it. He's excelling in it, and he has the chance to become, I guess, the 3rd Texas A&M outfielder in as many years to be a first-round draft pick.
Ronnie, I was reading the game notes this morning, and TK, I didn't realize this, but he's been on base every game, all 12 games.
And I think he's got a hit in 11 of 12.
Is it 11 or 10?
It might be 11 of 12.
But speak to that, his ability to, especially with his speed and his ability to make pitchers think, how important that's been so far.
Yeah, and for TK, you can make an argument. So first of all, he has been much better with his plate discipline. He is celebrating his walks. He's celebrating his hit by pitches. Again, that goes back to the team goals that they are not going to move, and they're going to celebrate getting on first base. And TK, as you get older as a player, you start to become more self-aware. At least you hope that players do. There's no more identity crisis for TK. Like, if he runs the ball out of the ballpark, cool. But that's never going to be his game. It's not just not. He doesn't impact the baseball in that way. But he is an extremely effective player and an extremely important piece of this offense whenever he is within himself and he just gets to first base. And Coach Early talked about some swing stuff that he's working through. But and there is some stuff like he kind of He'll get on his front side, he'll cut himself off, and he allows the ball to get really deep. But whenever he gets the ball really deep and he's on his front side, that causes the bat path to be a little steep. Well, guess what happens when TK's bat path is steep? He hits the ball down into the ground, like early contact with the ground, and it gets a high hop. For TK, that's a problem for infielders. I should say that's a problem for infielders when TK does that. He has been great at going the other way, but a lot of his stuff, like you can just tell he's more comfortable with who he is by the flight path on the ball whenever he hits it. Like he's not hitting the ball in the air. I think at one point last year he was like, man, and that was maybe the overarching mindset of last year's team was to hit the ball in the air and try to hit the homer. I think he knows that's not his game anymore. And maybe he was around guys that were trying to do too much of that last year. This year he's a lot more comfortable with the overall approach. And so you've seen his launch angles steadily drop, and that's a good sign for TK. And so even as he's working through some swing stuff, he's getting a bunch of hits, and he's getting on first base. It's been a really like underrated part of this offense.
We got to hit a break here, but just Richard, before we hit a break, who has been the surprise through 12 games of the season? Like somebody, is it Jake Dewar? Is it somebody else?
Yeah. It's hard not to go with TK, but I would have to say Jake Dewar. Like, what, he's hitting 438, his OPS is over 1,000.
Hitting balls out of the ballpark.
He's hitting home runs. He's getting compared to Jack Moss. He's been fantastic. And as Bronny said earlier, he's done a ton of work to make himself a serviceable outfielder when you need him to be. And when he's not and he's in that DH role, he's really letting it loose and hitting balls over the wall and finding gaps. And just, he's been fantastic.
He's another one. Like, he's such a good hitter that the deeper in counts he goes, the better I feel about his outcomes. Like, he does such a good job. You look at his spray charts, they're evenly distributed from foul line to foul line. Last Tuesday against Incarnate Word's a perfect example. Has 3 hits. The first one, pull side in the air, home run. The second one, ground ball right back through the middle. The third one, opposite field line drive single. So 3 different ball heights, 3 different launch angles, 3 different directions, all resulting in hits. Like, this guy has real bat-to-ball skills, and that's exactly what they wanted when they went and got him out of the transfer portal. So even though we haven't seen Wesley Jordan in a high volume just yet, his early returns were, this is exactly what we wanted out of the transfer portal. Now the same can be said with Jake Dewar. If not, he's even given them more than they thought.
Yeah, drop it right there. It's we'll come back with another short segment. It's TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Final segment of the baseball bunch before Billy Liucci comes to studio. Gentlemen?
Until he's supposed to be.
Until he gets up maybe on the phone?
Yeah.
Potentially. Ronnie's going to stay out of that one. Let's chit-chat about Oakland, the series this weekend. I saw that their starting pitcher's got like a 15 ERA or something to that effect.
The staff has an ERA over 10, so.
Yeah.
And it's going to be offensive. If all the games are played as scheduled on time, 2 today, 1 tomorrow, it's going to be a pretty offensive ballpark. What I worry about with this Oakland series is, number one, it's baseball and anything can happen. Despite their results so far against Georgia and Tennessee, it's baseball. Like, you got to go play and anything can happen. But this is, to me, it's a big testament to maybe not this weekend, but going forward, what does it look like? Because you're going to see a very different pitching staff next weekend in Norman. Very different. They're incredibly good. They're deep. They throw hard. You're not going to get your swing off as much. What I worry about is with all this heavy south wind today and tomorrow, is A&M starts running a bunch of balls out of the ballpark, and then they start getting their eyes get big. And they maybe come out of what has made them successful so far. And I think that's a job that Mike Early and Cliff Pennington have to fight, is like, hit low line drives today. If they go out, fine. But like, we can't be trying to lift the baseball, because that is not good for our long-term success, and it doesn't fit within the goals of what we want to do as an offense.
Perhaps a trap weekend, to Bronny's point, not necessarily because of the results this weekend against Oakland, because this is a team, the numbers say you should run rules all 3 times, right? And, of course, we know baseball is baseball. That may or may not happen. But trap weekend, because it could trap you mentally before you go up to Norman, where you're going to have to be much better and consistent and locked into your approach to have success against that pitching staff.
I've watched Oklahoma a couple times. They are really good on the mound.
Their broadcast is not.
Yeah, if you're getting ready to watch next weekend on SEC Network, I hope they have a different camera crew. What happened last night was atrocious.
Really?
And that's not
ball
even
in
the worst one
play
we've
doesn't
seen.
change from the center field camera, right? Like normal.
Yeah.
Ball in play, the announcers are calling the play, still stuck on center field camera.
Well,
you see the pitcher and catcher like looking in the direction of the ball. You have no idea what's going on.
Cade and I, on a Monday night a couple weeks ago, watched their game in Arlington against UTA, I believe it was, and it was like zooming in and out from space. It was crazy. It was like you're on a bungee cord.
Anyway, A&M is going to see a very, very good pitching staff next week. So almost the inverse of what they're going to see this weekend. So you can't fall in love with this weekend's results. It's got to be about next weekend and your trip to Norman.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Yeah. All right, when we come back here on TexAgs Live, we think we'll have Billy Liucci. As a reminder, the final segment of the program is brought to you by Double Dave's. That's at 10:50. But right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We'll hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza. They've been serving Aggieland since 1984 with your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls. Reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com, and your favorites are on their way.
And we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Hour number 3 of the program. Billy should be here momentarily. As we wait for Billy, why don't we find out what's popping on TexAgs today? Reese Nygren at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Reese, I want you to do that, but also I should have known this. I did not know. Can you read that text that came in about the Oakland head coach? I think that I should have known that. Richard knew it. I didn't know it.
Yeah, a little tidbit on the Oakland Golden Grizzlies head coach. He was a former longtime Brazos Valley Bombers coach by the name Brian Nelson. Also has a degree from Texas A&M. So a little bit of a homecoming for him.
That's cool to know. I wish I would have known that earlier in the week. I would have tried to get him on the show.
And then on TexAgs today, a reminder, it's always a great time to become a TexAgs premium subscriber. But what we have is a handful of NIL interviews, one of them with Terrence Keel II, talking about the energy he brings to the clubhouse each and every day and his thoughts on the team's 11-1 start to the season. Catcher Bear Harrison came into the studio talking about the effect Troy Claunch has on his defensive improvement and his mental approach after a slow start offensively. Luke sit down with Rylan Griffin, where he talks about the importance of being hot in the month of March and his recap over the win over Kentucky in his career night. And then your interview with Tafik Bayard, where he talks about why he chose A&M and how his brother Kevin's success in the NFL drives him. We have OB's article highlighting Adam Cushing and the A&M offensive line, talking about how the tough love approach turned the A&M front into one of the nation's best and what mindset and preparation a top O-lineman must have. And then coming up later today and this weekend, we will have a series preview of the Aggies and the Golden Grizzlies. Basketball coverage as the Aggies take on the LSU Tigers. That'll be from Luke, OB, and Tom Schuberth. And then softball coverage as they play a doubleheader versus Tarleton and Texas State today in the San Marcos Showdown, and a potential Ask Liucci.
All right, let's go to the Bubby's Catering and Bartending Hotline. That's where we find Billy Liucci, executive editor, co-owner of TexAgs. Billy, good morning, buddy.
Good morning, David. Let's keep this short and sweet, shall we?
I don't know if I like your tone. Just kidding. Hey, all right. Well, let's just.
I'm about to be there.
Huh?
I'm about to be there. It's all.
Okay. Well, then, you want me to hang up, or do you want me to ask you one question?
You can ask me one question.
All right. How are you?
Maybe two.
Okay. All right. What did the victory over Kentucky mean to you for this program moving ahead? And also, as you're talking about that, considering what they still have to do against LSU to really, I think, legitimize what that victory meant.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you have to legitimize what that win meant. That's still going to be a big one for their tournament resume. And I don't think going in, if they were unable to win tomorrow, we'd have to ask our resident expert, Luke, on how damaging that would be. LSU, does that pop them back into a quad one? And then is that a quad one road loss? But the reality is, I don't think it's fair to say A&M punched their ticket with that win over Kentucky. But I do think ultimately that'll be the win that kind of like got them in. If they lost to LSU, got a bye, and lost to someone like Texas, Vandy, Mizzou, I don't know who's in that realm. Kentucky, it's somebody. I still think they would get in, but you're kind of playing with fire there. What would scare me would be losing to LSU, not getting a bye, and then playing a lowly thought of team like a South Carolina, like a Mississippi State or an Ole Miss that obviously have, particularly Ole Miss and even Mississippi State, have moments where they've shown they can play with that top half of the SEC. So you'd be in a real danger zone, I think, in that instance, or maybe even an OU that's playing very well and not going to the tournament. So you wouldn't want to risk. So you wouldn't want to, the old FAFO, which is officially old. I wish they'd retire it, but you don't want to do that and get that old man on the graph showing you what happens if you were to lose to like LSU or in South Carolina or LSU and Mississippi State. Like, I don't think you want to find out what happens then. So from that standpoint, I don't think they've clinched, but they could get that bye even if they lose to LSU. And I think even in that situation, they'd eke their way in. But the reality is, go win up one on the road, and you're in. There's just, I think you're 100% in at 11-7 in the SEC going into the SEC tournament. You're getting a bye. You're almost certainly not going to suffer any type of damaging loss there, even if you went 0-1. Like you're comfortably in. Everyone, I think, will have A&M in. They're not playing for anything in Nashville, with the exception of maybe, as we've seen, even if you go on a run, you might move up a seed line, it seems like. So that's about it. But that Kentucky win was massive, and I think they needed that in the worst way, because we talked about it prior to the game. If they hadn't won that, I think they'd have needed to win 3. I mean, if they hadn't won it, that was it. Win one game at home, and I said this prior to the game. This is not like revisionist. Win one game at home, or you might have to win 3 away from Reed Arena, meaning LSU, probably a South Carolina, and then probably like Texas, Vandy, or Mizzou or somebody. And that's why that win was so significant, because I think it would have been a small mountain to climb for A&M to get in had they lost to Kentucky. But not only did they win, they won and looked really good doing it. They looked more like the team that had gotten to 7-1, and even a few games. I remember the games after that. They got blown out by Florida, but they took Bama to the wire. Final minute in Tuscaloosa, they lost by a point, by a single shot, to Mizzou, who's going to the tournament probably, unless they implode. But it was after that they started playing, I think, not as good ball. It wasn't really. It hasn't been a long stretch. It's just they lost a couple of close games that kind of compounded when they weren't playing well. So this has not been a long stretch. They weren't playing well, but we needed to see something like what we saw from Kentucky, against Kentucky. And by the way, I know they lost to Texas at home, and everybody hates that. But 2 of their last 3, I think, have been particularly impressive. If you don't think winning at OU late on a Saturday night was impressive, go look at what Oklahoma's done of late. They blasted Georgia. They were taking apart Vanderbilt, and Vandy made a run, but OU won at Vandy. I think they were up 20 with 5 minutes left. They won by 1. But then they clubbed Missouri this week. So they've beaten 3 tournament teams of late, and A&M went up there on the road and beat them. So quietly, and no one's saying it, but now all of a sudden you need to look and go, hey, how good are the Aggies playing lately?
Billy, I wanted to ask you one other thing before we hit. Are you already here?
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll just hit a break. I'll ask you on the other side. All right, Billy Liucci there on the Luppies Catering and Bartending Hotline. Right now we're talking about Guarantee Bank and Trust. They got over a century of experience here in this area, serving Texans as one of the most respected community banks. They're fantastic. You got to meet their team. They have 3 different locations across the Brazos Valley, and their market president is a great Aggie. His name is Brandon Sears. He's an A&M alum who leads their efforts here in Bryan College Station. 33 locations across Texas beyond the Bryan College Station area. You've got them in Dallas, you've got them in East Texas, you've got them in Fort Worth, you've got them in Houston, Central Texas. And wherever you are, they're going to make local decisions based on your area and what's important to the community. They love growing that community stronger. They have a strong track record of doing that. They also have a strong track record in supporting financial education. They want to make sure that you get home ownership. They want to take care of local businesses and nonprofit efforts right here in this very own community. They're known for their exceptional relationship-based banking, which means if you're buying a home or investing in some other areas, they're going to make sure that they take you through that financial journey together as a team. They are your Aggieland Community Bank, and they're going to take great care of you. It is Guarantee Bank and Trust, the website, gnty.com. Guarantee Bank and Trust, a division of Glacier Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. And we're back on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner.
Sorry.
Hey, it's all good. Welcome to the show, sir.
Houston.
Why Houston?
I keep getting messages from
Space City?
Facebook messages, like high school friends, because
Dude, you're on television.
That's all they do at our age is live on Facebook.
Yeah.
Which I never go on, so I feel bad.
You're more of a TikToker.
I'm not. I have never, ever posted a TikTok. I have been involved in a couple of TikToks. One that went, I like to say, semi-viral. It's only because of the person that did it. But I've never posted a TikTok, but I do watch it. You should see, speaking of high school, like my high school college buddies, there's a group of us on, they started like a group text. There's like 8 people. And I send them like 90s country music clips because I know that's what they like. Like when they were in college. I was, I'm younger than them, but not really. But I send them the videos, and every one of them are, we don't do TikTok. We don't do TikTok. They hack your information. We don't. I'm just like, guys, just calm down. No one's trying.
Everyone's hacking
No
your
one's
information.
going after your identity. I promise. Nobody wants to be you. And on top of that, yeah, like it's funny how they act like Facebook isn't like, that's like, it's turned into like MySpace with all the spammy feeling. Like,
oh, yeah.
It's just a cesspool. Facebook and their, Instagram's better. Like, come on, dude.
But
like,
back to your original point, Space City. Everybody's watching it in Houston. I mean, I heard it from like 5 people yesterday.
No, absolutely. I get texts every time it's on. Several texts. So that's been cool to see. Speaking of Space City, Cade's dressed like 1980s Astros
Orbit?
right now. Or no, he's dressed like I think he stole that shirt from, speaking of Houston, Jose Cruz or maybe Craig Reynolds. Could have stolen it from Billy Dorn or Dickie Thon.
That's old school right there. Glenn Davis was my guy.
I never was a big Glenn Davis guy.
No?
Never was. I liked Billy Hatcher. Mike Scott. You're a Mike Scott
sure.
guy. See, I went on a stint where I was a Mets fan for a minute because I was a big Darryl Strawberry guy. So when they played 86 in Houston, I was in like probably, what was I, 5th grade at the time, I think. But 86, they played in Houston, and I think we got to watch that series in school that day, and it was the Mets-Astros. Like, it was like a day game, Game 6. It went extra innings, and my memory serves, Darryl Strawberry hit a home run off Nolan Ryan that day. Billy Hatcher hit some huge home run to keep the game going. But confession, I was a Mets fan
for that
in
era.
that era. So I was not like
they were popular.
Glenn Davis and Mike Scott were
Keith
under my
Hernandez,
skin.
come on. That was great on Seinfeld.
That team was incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were all on Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Is it Roger McDowell was the second spitter? You don't know that?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, you don't.
I remember Roger McDowell.
You don't remember it because it's funny. It's Seinfeld. It was a funny one.
I remember Roger McDowell. Hey, we got a little note from the Angry Elephant News and Social Center, basketball-wise. Reese, do you want to just tell Billy what you learned here a few minutes ago?
Yeah, earlier we were talking about Joe Lunardi's latest bracket prediction. A&M is the 10 seed. Villanova the 7 in Tampa with Florida as the 2. He just dropped where A&M fit on the last 4 buys. They are the second team on the last 4 buys, right behind TCU and in front of Missouri and Texas.
So he dropped. He I don't know what he did with TCU, but he must have pushed A&M past Missouri.
Yeah,
since the last one.
He dropped Missouri and Texas below A&M.
Yeah, I mean, I try not to, when you're getting into the nitpickety stuff, like Joe Lunardi's still the best. And
yeah, he's good.
I think he's, still very accurate. And I know everybody, just like anyone, and it's kind of like what we do here. You've got a million imitators and everyone tries to kind of steal the formula, but with their own little twist on it to say, oh, we're going to do it better because this is what we've followed, that people complain about this. So we're going to openly promote that we do this because we've seen people, Lunardi's still, he's plenty reliable. You can go off him and he's going to generally steer you straight. You don't need to look at the 48 other different metrics. And I bet if you just looked at Lunardi, the difference in what that person's gathering in terms of knowledge or feel for it is like that much different than if you looked at 50 other.
Who's like the next best guy? Jerry Palm, I guess?
I don't know who. There might be people now that they think are better than Lunardi, but I'm just saying, I follow the guy year in and year out, and he's insanely damn accurate. So I think the big takeaway is that A&M's kind of slightly moving up, and a couple teams are kind of slightly moving down. But the biggest takeaway though is that I don't think one loss in any world pushes A&M behind that many teams to be out of it. And I honestly, like I said earlier, I don't know that two will. You just don't want to. You don't want to
chance it,
because you don't know what who's going to get hot. And then that line, all of a sudden, one team gets hot, and you look up and you go, "Damn, we're getting way too close to that cutoff line than I want to be right now." So, no, I think the Aggies are in good shape. I just wouldn't sit here today and say locked in, although they might be. It's just that world of I would love to know that they were getting a bye, because you don't want to risk that bad loss. But by the way, like I said, what games did A&M play poorly in?
Florida, and mostly what Florida did.
All right, but
Vandy.
Time out. Did you see what Florida did to Arkansas?
Yeah, they make everybody play poorly.
Did you see what Florida did to Bama?
Yeah,
So yes and no, right?
Right.
Okay.
I don't think they played well against Texas this last game.
I don't either, but I also think Texas, in a lot of ways, man, that's a tough matchup for the Aggies. Just guarding those players that Texas has in their backcourt, guarding the 7-footer. I give the Aggies a lot more credit for going down there and winning in Austin when Vandy couldn't, when Georgia could not, than I do thinking, man, they played poorly. They led at halftime, and that was was it a 2-point game with about 5 minutes left?
Yep.
So, I would not call that, no, but get where I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't think they played bad in that game. I just don't.
Okay.
I think we know they could have played better.
Okay.
Would be a fair way to say it.
The part of my reasoning for saying that, they scored 71 points. And for this team to be this team, they got to score in the 80s.
But Texas had a lot to do with that.
But that's every game.
I get it, David, but they did not play bad in that game.
Okay.
If you ask the head coach of the basketball team, honestly, away from any mic or anything, they would not say they played bad in that game.
What game do you think they played poorly in?
I think they played poorly at Vandy.
Yep.
And I think
second half of Ole Miss. Oh, not Ole Miss,
first half,
Missouri.
Yeah. No,
second
first half of Ole Miss.
And second half of Missouri.
Yeah, but it's not like they were up by how much against Missouri at halftime? 4, and they lost by 1. And they had, I think you have to factor in, you're playing tournament teams.
Yeah.
I think they played poorly at Arkansas because they made some wild-ass turnovers, but they had that as a 5-point game with 4-point game with 5 or 6 minutes left against a team that you just saw was beating Texas by 30-plus at one point. And they've lost one game at home all year. And when they're on, they look like a Final Four team. So I honestly think the only game that they looked bad in for a game was Vandy. And then I'll agree, Ole Miss, I thought they stunk up the court really for almost 30 minutes. So you can play poorly and win. And so I think those were just the couple of games to me.
Kate has one in my ear, but it was so long ago.
No. I mean recent.
Okay, recent.
Yeah, what the hell, Cade?
You don't have to get mad.
Do we got to go to the 3 weeks into this? No, a week into the season when football's still being played?
He just wants to be a part of the show.
Well, he's out. He's no longer a part of it.
He's back in. Kate, take my spot. I'll take your spot.
No, you don't want to be in that seat.
Yeah,
Trust me.
You're right.
Y'all want to argue. My point is...
No, I'm just talking.
No, you're being too, it's hey, we're on radio, so we have to be contrarian. You're missing what I'm saying. They played poorly. You can lose a game to a tournament team and not play poorly. You can beat Ole Miss and play poorly.
Yes.
I think they played poorly in like 2 games.
Okay.
Lately. I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, I get it. I think more my point was they went a stretch without playing their brand of basketball. And that before the Kentucky game, I don't know if they played their brand of basketball against a lot of those teams, even in some of the wins.
I think it's hard to play your brand of basketball against Missouri when they've got 2 7-footers that are catching one-handed lobs the whole game over your 6'6", biggest guy being 6'6" out there for a lot of it. And I think it's hard to play your brand of basketball against Missouri when you're pressing the whole game and with 5'9", 5'10" guards, and they've got a 6'4", 210-pound guy bringing it up the whole game and putting his shoulder down and going to the basket the same way he did to Tennessee when they had a mismatch and he scored 30. So that's what's so fun about March Madness and college basketball in general, because there will be games when A&M can, in fact, play their brand of ball, and it can overwhelm a team like Kentucky because they get caught, against a red-hot A&M team. But, like, sometimes the other team, they didn't play, like, their brand of ball at OU.
Right.
And that was a massive win. And, again, like I said earlier, Oklahoma, in their last however many games, has beaten the brakes off of Georgia, who's going to the tournament as like a 7 or 6 seed. They've beaten the brakes off of Vandy. Again, they won by 1, but Vandy was down 20, almost 25 with 5 minutes left. And they just beat Missouri by like 16. And so to go up there and win, they got taken out of their brand of ball. Remember that game?
Yeah,
was like a defensive.
Without making it sound like I'm arguing with you, I just think when this team is playing what I think is good basketball, it means that they're controlling the tempo. You can't do it against every team. I recognize that, especially teams that are physically built bigger than them, and hitting threes. And they went a stretch without hitting threes. But what they did against Kentucky was, I think, they were not playing their brand of basketball for a while in that game, the first 12 minutes.
Yeah.
And then Ruben hits a 3, and I think just everybody not woke up.
It was crazy.
It energized
how that one
them.
shot did it, but and Ruben is. I would say Ruben and Rylan, and I know when Zach Clements gets going, it changes things too. But I think Ruben and Rylan, to me, if both of them are shooting well in a game,
we got a stat on that.
Probably winning. Oh, really? And I don't even know.
Luke said it. It was. I know that that Ruben, when he hits four or more threes, is 8-1, and then when he and Rylan hit 3 or more, I think they're 5-0.
Yeah. So to me, that's the formula: is when 2 of them are.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's 2 of those 3. Maybe you put in Zach Clements, because the other night it was all 3, and they went on, what was it? 44
to 11 run.
44 to 11 run against Kentucky. And again, that's not vintage Kentucky over here, but they're a tournament team they're still on the top. You look at those brackets, they're a 6 or 7 seed, and you smash them. If 2 of those 3 guys are shooting well from the outside, A&M is a problem. But what I like, Nuño, going back to what we just talked about, they have had to grit and grind out games against good teams. So, like, beating OU, not saying OU is good, they're good lately, but going up there and winning when they were kind of taken out of their thing. Missouri, they lost, but again, this is an NCAA tournament squad in Mizzou, and they lost, like, basically, it was literally a final shot game. And they were they weren't making threes, they weren't matching up well, but they found a way to have the ball with, 18 seconds left, 14 seconds left, and a shot to win the game. These are lessons and things that also kind of indicators that tell you this team, if they get there, they're going to be a tough out. Alabama's another great example.
Yeah.
You go down there and you're up with 1:20 left. All these games, this is a good basketball team. They're not great. They've got their flaws. Like you said, there's going to be games where if they're not making shots, it's a tough go for them.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, Dominguez. That dude's not built to guard an SEC 4-man. You go watch him play Florida, and he's out there trying to guard Condon. It's insane. That's the position they're in. A lot of that has to do with the trickle-down effect of losing a guy like Mbako. But you see that, and you're like, okay, Somebody was telling me what a great athlete Ali Debo is. And I'm like, yeah, he is. So he never gets tired. Yeah, he does, because he's not physically built to guard a big that's leaning on, and then he has to do that. AG's another one. Sometimes he looks like the most tired guy out there, and yet he still finds a way to get double-double. And, but he's battling giants in there and does it every single game. So there are times when the matchup's just not there, but the fact that A&M looks up and with a few minutes left, they're down 2 to Texas. With a few minutes left, they're down 4 at Arkansas when it looked like a complete blowout. You look up and they have a shot to beat Bama in the final minute. Like, these are real teams, and they've beaten Texas, they've beaten Kentucky, they've blown out Georgia. So yeah, when the shots are falling, they can really play with, I'd say, anyone except maybe about that top 5. Nobody wants to see Arizona. They don't want to see UConn. They don't want to see Michigan. And who's the fourth one I'm forgetting? Duke. And Duke. You don't want to see them, and probably Florida, yeah. Florida's proven that to everybody. Outside of that group, if A&M's hitting shots,
they can beat anybody.
Like, I saw one today where it was A&M at 11, Purdue was the 3. I'll take my chances with Purdue. I mean, I know Purdue's better. They've been better early. But, like, teams in that world, you'll take your chances. And like Luke said this, and I agree, if they could get like an 11 seed, it might serve them best for the chance of an upset. But that means you're flirting with disaster to fall down to that 11.
All right, we'll hit a break. I'm going to take you on a Twitter journey next on TexAgs Live.
Oh, wow.
All right, we're back here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Billy with us. Bill, I'm going to take you on a Twitter journey.
I had to go tell them we're not allowed to play Pop-A-Shot
during the show. I think I just heard a shot, though.
No, we're not allowed to play Pop-A-Shot during the show anymore. It's March Madness. Guys, listeners, viewers, there is a problem brewing here when we're having the athletes come in to do these interviews and for socials, and now we have a running scorecard, and Rylan Griffin came in and set the record for athletes at like 101. So that includes baseball, football, basketball, women's basketball.
Did he shoot left-handed or something?
Every sport, but he scored 101. Now, I've only played it a few times, and I scored 101. But Zane and these guys have played so much. Callie, Zane. We've got someone in here that made 138, Cooper. Zane's at like 125. Luke's at like 100. That is not because they shoot better than Rylan effing Griffin. It's because they play it so much. They've formed all these. The only person that doesn't fall into that group is Olin, because if y'all saw how Olin shoots, it's unbelievably between his dress, his hair, and his shot. If you walk in that room, you'd think you step back in time to like 1963. Seriously, today that floral shirt?
I
with
love the way I've had
striped warm-up
with
pants
the sweatpants. Yeah,
and that hair.
I loved it.
And he's shooting the basketball like
he looked
this.
like a mobster.
He's doing this.
He shoots it like that.
He goes like this.
RPMs are crazy on Olin.
Yeah,
wow.
And he leans way over, and it's.
Wow. I take great pride in not doing the game.
Thanay you, David.
Yeah, you
work too hard.
No, it's not that. I just play defense. Anyway, that's what I do. Why would I get to stay? I know my lane.
Houston, why don't you tell everyone how you locked up Calvin Murphy?
We almost got into a fist fight.
Yeah, well, he's like 80.
He's also a Golden Gloves champion. He would probably take. Well, I don't know about anymore.
He's also a band.
If I took him to the ground,
he also played in the band at Buffalo.
Yeah,
Calvin Murphy's a legend. And
great guy. I don't know about great. Very nice. Mm-hmm. All right, Twitter journey.
Sure.
All right.
I don't even know where you're going.
Josh Pate investigates has confirmed college football's toughest stadiums to play in. He had A&M at number 8, but that's not where this journey stops, okay? Then Zach Barnett, who I think never speaks well about A&M. I might be wrong.
He probably has, but he's a Longhorn fan.
Okay,
or
I don't know him.
Actual Longhorn who cosplays as being impartial and unbiased, which those are the kinds I just can't get down with.
I don't know.
He runs a different entity that you should be, running from an unbiased perspective, but it just comes out too much on Twitter.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to him very much, but I've seen him only speak poorly. When's the last time A&M won a big home game? So Pate responds, Missouri 2 years ago. Okay? And then Zach, of course, had to have a response. A team that finished number 22 in the AP, the prosecution rests, Your Honor. Josh then goes, if you're a top 10 and I put a beating on you so bad that it derails your season, I deserve more credit after the fact, not less. They go on to say a couple of other things.
Here's the problem with people like this, and this is the issue. If you're that worried about it, congratulations to your Longhorns for winning two seasons ago at Kyle Field. So if that's what you need to hear, Aggie say, and that makes you think that Kyle Field's not an advantage. I've said this before, or not a tremendous home field advantage. I've said this before. First of all, if your dumbass hasn't been here enough, then don't talk about it. If you haven't been all over the SEC and all over the previous Big 12, like myself and so many others in these comments that actually go to the venues and do it, then you probably shouldn't talk about it. If you're looking at games like every single program, including your Longhorns and every other one, they count ranked wins, top 10 wins. No one on earth counts those games as where they were at the end of the season. They are called ranked wins from when you play them. They are called top 10 victories when you win. Whoever you root for, even your team, in their media guide, in their game notes, on their social media, when they talk about the coach's record versus ranked teams, versus top 10 teams, versus number 1. So when A&M beat Alabama in 21,
Alabama was number one.
But I don't think Bama won the national title that year. I don't think they finished number one. So do we just say they didn't beat number one? My ass. It's stupid. It's disingenuous. And by the way, like if you are a Texas person, Texas A&M has won 10 games against top 15 teams in the last 10 seasons. I would love to see how many Texas has won in that same instance. You could look that up, Reese, as we talk. They've won 10 games in the last 10 seasons at home against top 15 teams, not ranked teams, top 15 teams. They've beaten number one. They've beaten LSU when they're in the top 10 several times. So LSU last year or 2 years ago was not a big win, right? Because they didn't finish strong. They came in here. Both teams were in the top 10, and Texas A&M beat them at Kyle Field. I was at that game. I saw the environment. I remember the buildup. I remember all the fans that were your color, burnt orange, talking about how bad Garrett Nussmeier and what's the big tackle's name? Will, who was so bad in the Super Bowl.
Will Campbell.
And their passing game and all the receivers, how badly they were going to come in and destroy A&M. And A&M won that game. That was a big game, my friend. I hate to break it to you. And when A&M went to South Bend and beat Notre Dame, I know that's not at home, but my point is they didn't go to the playoffs. Are we going to say that wasn't a big game? That game was a massive game when they beat LSU this year. LSU off a cliff, right?
Yep.
When you went into Baton Rouge and Herb Street and Fowler are doing the game, and it's a night game at Death Valley, and that's the whole buildup, and LSU's in the top 15, and if they won that game, they were going to thrust themselves into being a legitimate SEC title contender. I'm not making this up. This is what everyone in the country was saying before the game. And the Aggies went in there and they beat the brakes off of LSU. And the next day they fire Brian Kelly and everything falls apart for LSU. So that game, yeah, sure, it looks less later in the year, but that was built up when the ball was kicked off. That is a big freaking game. And you can go look at the list of big games A&M's won in the last 10 years, and there's plenty of them at home. And then when you want to, and it's also disingenuous to kind of look and go, well, their record was this against top 5 teams. Okay, A, they've won some of them.
Yep.
More than a lot of teams have. B, you also go, how many of those years was A&M, how many of those games were A&M not even nearly as good as the teams coming in here to Kyle Field?
All the time.
And they played them closer off their feet because of the Kyle Field.
By the way, the Texas game itself here at Kyle Field, I think was close-ish because of Kyle Field. Texas was controlling that game, and A&M had a chance in the fourth.
Yeah, and look, and I'll give Texas what Texas did. They get credit for. This is what good teams do, and that Texas team was really good enough to win a national title. Had they were driving 3 yards away to tie the game against Ohio State with 2 minutes left, they're beating Notre Dame just like Ohio State did. So that was a national title caliber team, and they did what a national title caliber team would do. They came in here and they took the crowd out of it for a large portion of that game. But once A&M had that pick six, they got another turnover, the roof came off of that place. But all you got to do is tip your cap to Texas. So that was a big game that they did not win at home.
Mm-hmm.
But again, oh, by the way, in year 4 or 5 under Sark, I think it was year 4 or 5 under Sark, year 1 under Mike Elko, a team that was in the top 3 versus a team that was, probably around, I don't know what their ranking was at that time, probably top 15 maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
No, it wouldn't have been because they lost to South Carolina and Auburn. They might not have even been ranked. So, again, does that mean they couldn't win a big game at home? Well, how many unranked or lowly ranked teams beat number 2 or number 3 at home? I got news for you. A&M's done it a couple times.
Well said.
I got that number for you.
Yeah.
Going all the way back to the 2015 season, Texas has beat 3 top 15 teams at home.
Yeah, and
all three of them in the last 2 years.
And I went back to 2016, so I don't even know if A&M did it in 15. But yeah, so 10-3 at a 10-3 in the last 10 years. I mean, that again, and I'm being a little disingenuous in saying that. If you want to twist numbers, because Texas, because they play OU neutral every year, they were in the Big 12, they don't get a lot of big games at home. But they beat A&M at home. That was a big win. A&M was undefeated. They lost to Georgia at home. They lost to Alabama at home. What's their record in big home games since they joined the SEC? I guess it's 1-2. Unfortunately, A&M's that one. And the only reason we're talking about Texas is the person flying in the mentions is notorious Longhorn that hides under the guise of being impartial and neutral, but comes at A&M and tries to make A&M look bad almost, I feel like, way too often.
Billy, when you are a national person, you almost sit out some conversations.
I don't think you have to sit them out. Like there was however many teams Josh Pate listed, and you took it upon yourself to go in there and try to make an A&M team look bad that's ascending under Mike Elko.
I'll read you the top 10.
And I'm not trying to sound like clavicular there. They're ascending.
Tiger Stadium.
We're not looks maxing over here like
frame mogging.
Is that what you do? No, that's mogging, right? What's it called?
What'd you just do?
When you do the.
I think that's Zoolander.
Frame mogging.
That's El Tigre.
Looch maxing. Yeah, I get what you're saying with Zoolander. I mean, it's
Blue Steel. He just did Blue Steel.
No, but there's a different word for it now, though. The kids have a word for it.
Nobody does that.
There's frame mogging. There's looks maxing. Like either one of those.
We're 50.
There's Jester mogging. Which
is there's that one.
This is what Nuño literally did. This.
Like, who's Nooner?
Like, who does that?
Who's Nooner? You called me Nooner.
And there's another word they use that rhymes with that. And you don't want to say it, but that face you made, I said Nuño, not Nooner.
I'm pretty sure you said Nooner. You know how you catch me on mine? Kay, check the tape at the break.
Check the tape.
All right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back with a short segment. It's TexAgs Live. Final segment of the program. David Nuño, Billy Liucci. We have not been locked out of our Twitter account. Billy, let's talk a little baseball, if you don't mind. Jake Dewar has been doing it. Sorry to borrow a line from OB. He's been a real fun story to watch. Final series before, you got the midweek, and then you got the Oklahoma series. How are you feeling about the way they've played so far?
Pretty good. Again, we can nitpick it all we want, and if they were to start SEC play today in this current iteration, I think the league is still too tough. I think they'd be a postseason team, but it's a fight to get in there. And that's the first goal, right after last season. You go from there. That's not the bar. I
think you lost your mic forever. It's over. Oh, you stepped on it. It's broken. So broken. It's a disaster. Anyway, yes, making the tournament after last season is absolutely good. Sorry.
No, making the tournament's the first order of business, right? But to me, they're going to have to be a lot better. But there's other schools, LSU, the defending national champion.
They're struggling a little bit.
Well, they're struggling a lot more than A&M is. And last year's A&M team struggled a lot more than this team. This team's lost one game. It was to number one. Now, they got blown out in it. Had they lost that game like 7-3, I think our whole feel for this thing would be different. And it's baseball, man. UCLA pounced on the Aggies early. They had a really tough break at the top of the first with that Grahovac should have been home run and been 2 feet over towards center field. But, they look so much better through this point of the season, like let's say approaching SEC play, than they did a year ago. And honestly, than they did in Slosh's second year, right. the year between the two World Series berths. And that team rallied to get in the postseason, and they played in a regional final game against Stanford, where Stanford had to double dip them to advance. So I think this team has looked better during this early period than those two teams have. And more importantly, you got a couple guys that haven't been playing lately that really should completely transform your lineup. We've seen very little of Hakopian, but he was here for fall ball. He's been here. We saw a very small sample size so far this season. He's the real deal. He's a projected first-round pick for a reason. It's a first-round MLB bat. You're going to add him back to the lineup, and then they've got why am I forgetting his name now?
Wesley Jordan.
Wesley Jordan. I was going to say Lamb. Wesley Jordan from Baylor. Like he was like legit, Dewar. Yeah. He's like Dewar when he came in. You ranked, man, these are two really good transfers they've added. He's mashing when he was in there. So you add those two bats, and this lineup looks completely different. I still think, there's starting pitching to be kind of sorted out and figured out, and I think somebody like Weston Moss needs a really good showing this weekend. I think particularly you circle, that Saturday outing in Norman is going to be, I think, pretty telling. But no, man, this team looks good. I'm not going to say they look great yet. They look good with pieces to add that lineup could end up looking great sooner than later.
Billy, thank you very much. That's going to do it for TexAgs Live here on a Friday. Richard hosting on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week. Thank you to all of our guests and viewers and listeners. We'll see you next time.